We're not starting at the 20. We're starting from 15 yards off the field. And speaking of football, maybe we can get the NFL to drop that ridiculous kickoff sit. What the hell are they doing? What is that? I watched the game the other day. I said, what the hell happened? They just kicked off and nobody moved. Oh, well, that's up to them.
We'll let them handle it.
Yeah, sure.
We play that in honor of Brandon Aubrey Day.
Sure, yeah.
This is his regular day, I guess, right? Although we haven't done it on a Tuesday yet, but here we are. It's Tuesday. It's Election Day. It's show 262. We actually already talked to Brandon Aubrey this morning. These are the guys that just work. I mean, we do more before noon than, I don't know, some other people do, right? Not many.
Look, when Brandon Aubrey calls, you answer.
Yeah, we talked to him this morning at like 9:30, and then we will play that for you at the end of today's program. So if you are only tuning in for that, go ahead and fast forward it.
Find out what Jerry Jones said in the locker room afterward.
Oh, that's right. Boy, he really got into that.
Yeah.
I hope he doesn't get in trouble. He said so much. That's a tease.
Yep.
But today, we are broadcasting high atop my garage. We have a couple of things going on here. One, we're prepping for, I don't know that we're prepping, but tonight we're going to be doing a stream, I guess called an election stream. Kind of like we do the Cowboy game streams, but we're just going to watch the election and say stuff, and I don't know what we're going to do.
We'll cover the coverage.
We'll influence people.
That's right. We'll cover the coverage. We'll be able to flip around, see what's up.
Is it going to end tonight?
Will we be able to
probably not,
see
Blake.
Different stations on the screen with us and flip around?
That is my hope.
Do you feel that's a strategy?
Hope? Well, we talked about it, and
Rob is video man is nodding.
Yeah.
If Rob Chickering nods.
TC will be here. KT will be here. A lot of our friends, including RV driver Matt Dallas.
Brunig's going to pop in.
Brunig will pop in. So, yeah, be a good time.
You went on that, Chris? You want in on the election stream? Or
Man, that'd be tough. Sounds really exciting, though.
Okay, so first of all, I'll say we have we have a sit-in up here today. It is Katie Harris.
Hey.
She is a good supporter of the program.
What a day you picked.
We'll hear all about Katie Harris during closing remarks.
Thank you.
What do you got, Katie?
I'm just
Kind of
here to. I'm just here to rep what I do for a living.
Oh, okay.
I mean, other than that,
what is that?
I work for a nonprofit that teaches kids how to be, cool, fun kids, teaching them a sport that you guys love and hear so much in the DZ.
I see from the shirt that
pickleball?
we're speaking of golf.
We are speaking of golf.
Okay.
Well, we have a lot in common, Katie. You and I, we both work for nonprofits.
Oh, perfect.
Hey, that's right. That's right.
Love a good shoestring budget.
Yeah.
And thank you for taking off your shoes. And Katie was barefoot. I gave her a free pair of socks.
Hey, I can only do so much when I'm driving over out into the lovely place to the Dragon Den.
There was a guy here yesterday who he brought socks to wear with like flip-flops. He's like, I don't know. He had like the thong-style flip-flops on.
Oh.
He's like, I didn't want to be up there barefoot. People are...
You could wear... You know what? If somebody wears their shoes, this place is a mess. It's disgusting. Anyway... Speaking of a mess and disgusting, also joining us today, that wasn't very nice of me. Chris,
Wow.
I don't know why I said that. Actually, he looks probably more put together than anyone here for sure.
Yeah.
Probably.
I don't know. It's close.
He is Chris Gronkowski. Chris Gronkowski joining us.
Hey. Thanks for having me.
Because apparently he lives right
up
around
the
here.
street.
Why do you live in
every day
Dallas?
now. So I played here for a season. My
Very
wife,
familiar with that, yeah.
she actually grew up in Buffalo. And her dad got transferred out here to ULIS for the SBA, the Small Business Administration. So I used to come out here and visit him all the time and ended up coming to the Cowboys. Her whole family moved out here. My family was everywhere. So when I was done playing, it was either Dallas or Buffalo, New York. So pretty easy choice for me at that point.
Yeah, the easiest choice ever.
It is a very common place even for athletes that didn't play here.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you just see it on our local sports teams.
Yeah,
with sons of athletes.
Oh yeah. Southlake for sure, right? You have kids in the Southlake school system, and they'll be competing with a talented gene pool out there, I would guess.
So yeah, we got some solid competition. That's for sure.
How old's your oldest?
Oldest is 7. I got 4 kids. 7, 6, 4, and 2. So I started with 3 boys. The genes are strong. So
Are they in football?
Playing flag football right now, for sure.
Okay,
Football
just
and
like
baseball.
Jake. Jake's flag football player.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like that was meant to be demeaning, but I like playing, so I'm going to deflect.
Well, maybe Chris can get some tips from you.
I'll take it, man. It's a whole different game. So you think you're going to go out there and
Thank you.
you're a former
He might
football
be able to help us.
player, and it's a different world. I did play a little bit of flag. Like people asked me to come play with them, and it's a different world. It really is. It's all about short passes, quick passes, route running, and
flag pulling.
a lot of flag pulling too. It's hard to pull a flag.
But the NFL guys could.
I'm not saying they can't, but this was a debate because in 2028 there's going to be flag football at the Olympics in Los Angeles. And this turned into a topic of conversation because, like, Micah, there were a couple of other guys that were like, hey.
Tyreek Hill.
But no, guys who actually spoke up
Oh, okay.
and said, I want to play on that team. I want a chance to win a gold medal for, my country. And then the guys on the national team, the flag football team, jumped up and were like, hey, whoa, like, you don't just get to show up because you're an NFL player. We need to have tryouts and see if you could make the team. And I think people would be surprised. I honestly think the best flag football players in the country could probably beat a team of NFL players.
I think the
Unless they had about
Like, what
a
about
year to
Kyler?
practice.
They would have to practice for
Yeah.
sure.
like Kyler looks like he should be a flag.
Look,
football.
they're guys. Kyler, Lamar,
Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill, you might even make him your quarterback. But if you start looking around the league at other quarterbacks, there aren't that many that would be immediately good flag football
I think
quarterbacks.
Cooper Rush would be pretty good.
Dude, I mean, obviously you're joking, but like my brother came out 2 years after he had gotten done playing quarterback at Tulane. He was not a good flag football quarterback.
Huh.
I mean, he could spin it, but he also wanted to lower his shoulder in the open field and try to
Is he not a elusive guy?
I mean, he's fast. He's
yeah,
faster
he
than-
played wide receiver.
Yeah, but not like flag football fast is different. It's like soccer fast. It's a little bit different.
All right.
Different
Anyways,
sport.
what are we-
They would catch up quick though. They would need to train for it. They would need a coaching staff that knew flag football, but they would catch up quick.
but some guys would be no use. You know
Some
what
guys,
I mean?
yeah, for sure. Like you're saying, quarterbacks. I mean, are they scrambling that much in flag?
Yeah. So what do we call you? Do you have a nickname?
Would
Are we allowed to call you Gronk?
they,
Feels like
I
that's
get
taken.
it. I get C Gronk, but no. Actually,
Seagronk
when I played
doesn't
for
flow
the
that
Conk.
well.
when I played for the Cowboys, the nickname was actually Ski, and my brother didn't have the nickname yet, Gronk, really for the most part yet. But just the last name SKI was
That's
what
pretty
my
solid.
coaches called
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, I like that.
So that was it because I didn't want to read my entire last name.
Yeah.
So we got together. I met Chris because of a common friend or a listener of ours. Said, hey, I know Chris Gronkowski. I don't know. There's some
Ski.
stuff. He's got
Ski right there.
Yeah.
So you can't
he's a
say
ski
the whole
guy?
thing. Yeah. So I actually thought they were calling me Steve at first. I was
You
like,
gotta
Coach,
take it
my
'cause you're a
name's
rookie."
Chris, and he's like, no, I'm saying Ski, your last name. I'm not going to say your whole name. I'm just going to say the last 3 syllables or the last 3 letters. So that's where that came from.
We like to save time
Exactly.
in the NFL. We like tutties and
Takes.
takeaways. Yeah, or now takes. We learned the other day.
I'm not letting that fly.
But I was going to say, and then I invited Ski to our Cowboy stream. I thought that'd be a cool place to hang out and watch football for a day. He's so you said you would join us Sunday.
I might have to take that back.
Oh, you claimed.
I
You got
would.
stuff going on now?
My family is coming in town. I forgot my daughter's baptism is the next day.
Bring them all.
So we could either bring them all, or I'm gonna have to
Or
skip this
pick
one
another game. Okay.
for sure.
There'll
but-
be other games.
Yeah, but I said, you want to join us like any other time just to meet us and stuff? And he's like, yeah, well, I don't do anything except what? You got to drive your kid to school or home from school, I think, around 3. So
Yeah, I got to be home after school for the kids, but I
Yeah.
do run a whole business. I mean, I do.
Oh,
I do
no,
a lot.
yeah.
just-
We'll get to that. Yeah, Ice Shaker.
I actually was one of I had to be one of the first people to buy one many years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Ice Shaker, search it online. That's
I don't have it anymore because we moved.
you saw
and I
him
lost
on
it.
Shark Tank, right?
I did.
Wow.
I did with the whole fam. And I don't recall if that's why I bought it, but I definitely bought one. And it was as advertised. 5 of 5.
So I come on the show.
Can recommend. It's basically like, I mean, you can do the pitch if you want, but
He said he could also make some with Dumb Zone logos and sell them. And
Ooh.
Definitely can do that. Absolutely.
business is what we're talking about.
See, he's always thinking business.
But you can just make
We're not.
an actual, not. It's like you can, the titanium, it's titanium, right?
Stainless steel.
Okay.
It's kitchen grade stainless, yeah.
You can actually make a protein shake that tastes pretty good without a blender. Like you shake it up.
Shake it up.
There's ice, you shake it up.
Well, it's called the Ice Shaker.
Yep.
Is that where we got the? It's
Yep.
like the Coach Joe nickname.
Mm-hmm.
Where'd you get that nickname? All right. So at the end of the program, we're gonna play Brandon Aubrey for you.
Yeah.
Award-winning interview. But what are we doing until then?
Well, I do have a couple of ski questions or topics.
All right.
First of all, so you went to Arizona,
U of A? Yep, not Arizona State.
of course.
Yeah, just clearing that up.
As far as being on campus, overlap with Rob.
Yep.
How many? Like, is it 2 years? How old is he? 30.
Did you know the guy that tried to rip
Well,
the
that
ball?
was- that's what I
I'm
was gonna
sorry.
ask, yeah.
yeah.
Did I jump the gun on that?
Yeah.
Sorry.
So there was this party house up in the foothills, and it was the hockey guys. We're from Buffalo, so there was actually a couple kids from our school that went to Arizona and were on the hockey team. So at the hockey house, this was like the ultimate party house that everyone had
Jesus.
to go to.
Hockey
And,
and rugby.
Like, no,
Yeah.
no,
Those
hold on.
people are.
And you take guys from Buffalo who play hockey who go to Arizona.
Oh my God.
Like, I can't cook up a more diabolical party situation for you than those 3 notes.
Yep. And then you mixed them with a couple guys from the New York area that were big Yankees fans. And their parents had money, so they were able to afford the Foothills house. And it was all out partying. So we did know them. We went to the Foothills house a couple times, and there was at least 20 keg stands every time I went there. I feel like. And then that's how we knew him. But the guy was out of control, huge Yankees fan at that time. And I haven't seen him, 10, 12 years probably. And I saw him before that because he was like jumping around on another foul ball. And I was like, man, it kind of looks like Austin, but he's a little heavier now. And
Sure.
then the whole news comes out and people start texting me. They're like, oh, do you see this guy? Do you know this guy? And yeah, I do. I know exactly who that is. But yeah, same thing. Like, my whole thing was he's defending the wall. He should have caught the ball before the guy caught the ball.
Yeah.
That's defending the wall. I mean, ripping it out of his glove afterwards didn't do anything but get him kicked out of the game.
Yeah, I mean, it is a Yankee
he's a
fan,
legend.
though. I was going to say.
He is
so,
a legend.
Yeah, I mean, he's not Bartman.
He's
you
a
know what
legend.
I mean? Bartman had to go underground, whereas this guy will never buy a drink again, in New York.
It's the greatest thing he's ever done. That's his
Or will
greatest
do.
accomplishment. He'll tell
Yeah.
everyone that, guaranteed.
And then, okay, so just like some basic Wikipedia research here. All 4 of you played football, or at some level.
4
in
to
the NFL.
5. Yeah, we
Okay.
actually had an older brother that was.
Oh, that's tough.
He was too scared to play football.
Cooper.
Oh, that's tough.
No, he,
Cooper Gronkowski.
Yeah.
Like Cooper, got hurt though, right? Like
Yeah.
he tried to play. Like my oldest brother was too scared to play. So there's a difference.
Damn. How much older? You're 30.
I'm the middle, so I'm 37. My oldest brother's 41, and
Is he big dude?
he is now. He's like 6'6.5". He was 250. He played baseball, but in high school he's smaller. He was actually like 6'2", maybe like 180.
Didn't stop me, and I was at like 160.
Yeah, so he was too scared to play, and always tells everyone how great he would have been at
Yeah.
tight end.
Well,
if he played.
that's what Cooper does too. I mean, he played and got hurt. We're to believe that he was basically Jim Brown
Yeah.
had he not gotten hurt. But your great grandfather, that's an interesting note on your Wikipedia page. This is the most Olympian name I think I've ever heard in my life. Ignatius Gronkowski,
Nice.
who competed in the 1924 Summer Olympics in cycling.
Iggy.
Iggy.
That was it, Iggy. I didn't know that actually until we all made it to the NFL, and then people started researching, and I found out at that point that I had this great grandfather that was in the Olympics, but up until then I had no idea.
Was it your mom or your dad's?
It's my dad's side.
And he just didn't bring up like, oh, hey, you might have athletic genes. You're-
My dad actually, the only thing I really knew was he had this Bills contract on the wall, and it was in his office, and I can't remember. It was like $30,000, something like that he signed for, and I think he was a scab player at the time, but he's never brought it up ever since. But he used to hang it on the wall, and then we all started playing and we went pro, and that thing got taken down, and I've never seen it again. So that was kind of what I knew extent-wise. My dad played at Syracuse. He was a guard, and then he had some chances to play after that, but I had no
Scab
idea.
player. What?
Like
I think it was a scab player.
The
during
80 whatever?
So he would have been, would have been right around 82 when he had my brother. So he probably would have been about 21 years old, right around 82.
Okay, cool. But he had to rip that down because it's not impressive anymore?
No, he hides it. I haven't seen it anywhere ever since. I think it was like a 3-day contract or something like that.
That's wild, man. So did you play hockey growing up?
Played a lot of hockey. So we didn't actually play football until high school. I grew up playing hockey and baseball mostly, and you could hit on the ice. I mean, you could hit with cleats on. So I just played a lot of hockey all the way up until high school, when it was kind of in New York. You either played hockey and only hockey, or you played everything else.
So you're from Buffalo?
From Buffalo, New York. Yep.
Okay. Will you tell Blake that Niagara Falls is cool?
Yeah, it's pretty cool on the Canadian side.
Okay.
That's how you do it. So when you're 17 growing up in Buffalo, you're allowed to go over the border.
Casinos.
Gamble, drink, do it all. So
Does the water fall faster on that side?
It seems
he
like
just
it.
wants to. He's just pissing all over.
Here's the deal. So the eclipse, he left town because he was so uninterested in a once in a
really
million year event.
I thought that was I filmed it. I did the whole deal, man.
Yeah.
No,
we all
cool.
did.
Yeah.
He went on vacation somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got
So
slightly
just to not
darker
see it?
for a little bit. Yeah.
It was actually one of the coolest things I've ever seen, to tell you the truth. Like I
It
didn't hear
kind of
that.
changed my life.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Did it?
Well, you just gave me a new perspective on the world. And just,
I saw
how
it was
small
like-
we really are.
I saw it and was like, hey, in 6 months I'm going to go to rehab.
Well,
It changed my life.
it meant something different for each of us.
So before we get into other stuff, the business. Is this when did you start this current company? Pretty much right after?
No, so I played. I was done playing about 2014. So I went from Cowboys, played a season with the Colts, and then I ended up getting traded to the Broncos. And 2014, I was done playing, and it was about. I guess I started the business with my wife first, and I was working with my wife. She was sick of trying to find a new job every time I went to a new team, which was every single year. But at that point, was working with her, and then thought of the idea in 2016 to make. Really, it was taking a Yeti that was super popular at the time and a blender bottle that was only plastic, and combining really the two technologies to make an insulated stainless steel shaker bottle.
So it's like, you always see her with her Yeti. You're always making a protein shake. All right.
Mix them up, man. I actually, at the end of the day, I'd have like 5 cups in the sink, and it's like, man, I just want to use 1 cup all day. So it's kind of the idea. Make 1 cup I could use all day for everything. Mix a shake up when I needed to. And, when you have no kids and you're super competitive, you actually make things happen. So went all
that
in
might
on
be
it, and
might be part of my problem right now with this whole new business thing.
But 2 minds, 1 cup.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
You should have named the company that.
Ooh, that would have been a tough name.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if anyone would have bought it.
So do you want us to a website? What do you want us to do? Direct people where?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I didn't know we were doing full promos today.
Why
not?
Here we go. I got the Cowboys one with me right here.
Okay.
But yeah, it's iceshaker.com. We have a whole bunch of different sizes. We have jugs. We do personalization for companies, for events, and we have all the licensing for all teams, all leagues. So there's the Dodgers, World Series Cup we got up there. I think they're almost sold out now at this point, but yeah, it's pretty cool.
Does being with Cuban help you get all these league rights fees and?
Man, no. It actually
bet we
just,
couldn't put
just
out
recently got it, and it's tough. The NFL wants to make as much money as possible, so they don't just hand it to you, even if you played in the NFL, and you actually fill out the form, and it says, do you or anyone you know, have they played in the NFL? And I'm checking yes. I'm writing like soon to be Hall of Famer is my brother. Like, I'm doing the whole deal, and they call me back and they're like, well, we could do this, but you're going to pay a 6-figure royalty up front, and we're only going to let you do a shaker bottle because other people have the rights to the other bottles. Like, man, this kind of sucks. Like, this is a horrible deal. I got to sell a lot just to break even just on this royalty, right? So I found a company that already had the license, and we partnered up, and the company's called Windcraft. They're actually owned by Fanatics, and
that's an idea guy. Solutions
look at this
man
guy
right
just
there.
figuring
for
things.
sure.
Yeah, he doesn't see problems.
No.
it's
sees
all
solutions.
that's all it is.
And then the last thing, you brought a football helmet, so I was just
Yeah, I brought a couple things for show and tell. I I've done a lot of stuff with TikTok where I show off some of the behind the scenes of the NFL, and people go crazy for it. But I was telling a story the other day about the helmet, because when I was done playing, the only helmet I didn't have was my Cowboys helmet. So I had my Colts helmet, I had my Broncos helmet, sitting there on the shelf, and people are like, "Why don't you have the Cowboys helmet?" Well, the Cowboys don't give you the helmet when you're done playing. They'll make you pay for it. And
Really?
at that time, yeah. So every other team,
Just like the cheerleader uniform. They don't let them keep that. Do you know that?
yeah. So the other two teams gave me my helmet, so I had my helmet. Got home, I'm done playing, and at the time when I didn't get my Cowboys helmet, I didn't feel like it was a big deal. But now that I'm done, and it's kind of a cool piece of memorabilia that I could put in my office. So didn't have it, and I found out that what they do is you either have to buy it at that time, $350, which I was like, whatever, I'll get more helmets. I ended up not getting any more helmets from them because I wasn't on the team the next year. But and if you don't buy it, they go and auction it off. So when I was looking for it, I reached out to my equipment guy, because I reached out to the Broncos equipment guy to see if I could get some of my old jerseys, stuff like that, for charity stuff. And so I reached out to the Cowboys, and they're like, "We auctioned it off." I'm like, really? So they take it and they auction off your old stuff, and they try to make as much money as possible off of it. So I was like, man, I'm screwed. I was looking on the internet, like eBay, stuff like that, trying to find it. And then out of nowhere, I had a message on Facebook, and this guy reached out and said, "Hey, I have your Game Warm helmet. If you meet me and take a picture with me, I'll let you buy it back for what I paid for it." And I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to meet this guy next week, get my helmet back. I met up with him, took some pictures.
What did he pay for it?
I think he got it at bare minimum $350.
Oh, okay.
I think is what he paid for it. So my name and number on it brought zero value is what I found out. So I bought it back at $350, but it's the actual helmet. This is after the Eagles game, so after every game they restripe it. So you can see that so actually had some big hits in that game.
Yeah.
So the stars started coming off as well, but my number and name were still on the back of the helmet, so I knew it was mine for sure. But pretty cool to actually get it back and get it back from a fan years later.
That is cool.
Do you ever talk to Romo?
I don't. No.
Does that bother you?
I saw him once after that. You really didn't see Romo even when you're playing on the team with him.
No. I just mean that people are like that. Think about like the Romo injury.
Oh,
before I knew anything about you, like the ice shaker, I suppose, it was just like that's what people would say.
Yeah, I got absolutely torched for that.
Yeah,
absolutely. The best part is they never interviewed me. They never talked to me about it. I obviously didn't get cut from the team because the whole entire strategy of that game, and the whole breakdown was that their linebackers would not blitz unless they came on the line. So if you watch the play and the game plan was get out as fast as you can, help your tackles, chip when you get out. So get outside, chip, and get out there and give Romo another throwing lane. So you watch the film, the linebackers actually lined up over Jason Witten. Witten motions in, he comes in with them, looks like he's playing man on him. He kind of freezes. We call it a green dog, where you kind of sit. I think he was reading our running back, so he's kind of seeing what our running back was doing. Our running back sat, I believe, and then he came. So in that time, I saw it, wasn't on the line. In my mind, he's not blitzing because they hadn't blitzed once. I get outside, I go to chip, and as I'm chipping, he comes inside and gets to the quarterback. And, just like every game when a quarterback gets hit on a blitzing linebacker, and usually nothing happens, but of course that one time he gets hurt and just all rained down on me, man. So lots of death threats, like the whole deal. The 1-5 Cowboys season was blamed on me. I think I gave Romo a nice pass, man, because he ended up signing a $100 million contract. He was on the hot seat, man. Like, you're 1-5 and you're on the hot seat. You get hurt and then you get this massive contract. I think I might have been his best friend. So I'm surprised he's not calling me right now. Like, hey, man, thanks for that contract. But it's a tough situation for him to be in. So, but yeah, it all whole deal. Back then it was just Twitter for the most part, but.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Twitter would just light up and
kind of just started a little bit around that time.
Yeah, the social media wasn't huge. It's mostly Twitter, but man, the media, like, and it wasn't just from that. Like, the media in Dallas was by far the toughest of any team I played on.
Really?
Day one, first day I walked on the field, my first interview ever was this guy comes up, he's like, name 5 presidents. I'm like, man, I'm a rookie, undrafted, free agent. I'm really focused on practice. Name 5 presidents. I do. And then the first ever article I ever got written was like, 0 chance this guy makes the team. He can't even name 5 presidents. He's an idiot. I'm like, man, where am I at? But
See, I was worried that might have been Dan.
Or
Yeah,
like
I
a
knew
training camp.
But we would
Yeah,
never.
Goofy.
We would never then write that it had anything to do with football. We
Yeah,
just like
or-
hearing.
Yeah,
it was
first article, second day of training camp, rookie year.
Damn.
Just getting roasted. And
Yeah, we
they
gotta look
wrote
that up.
articles about like, I think it was McQuiston. I think it was his last name. Like he's
Yeah.
too ugly. He's not going to make the team. Like stuff
Too
like
ugly?
That. You're like, man, like just roast and play. I mean, it's the only team I played on where there's guys in the locker room trying to fight reporters. Like you didn't see that anywhere else. But Jerry just let anyone in and let anyone ask any question they wanted to. So it got pretty heated.
Yeah, I guess 2010. You might have been there around. Was Roy Williams still on the team?
He was, yeah. We had
Roy
Roy,
Williams-
we had Dez, yeah.
Roy left a note. I
For,
think, for a reporter
Jean-Jacques,
for Jean-Jacques,
right? Yeah.
maybe. That was boy. That was a wild team.
Yeah, it got heated. I mean, there was times where there's reporters pinned up against the lockers for talking trash and then walking in the locker room the next day and trying to get an interview from a guy. So it was pretty wild.
We saw. Do you know about what happened with Joel Embiid the other day?
No, I didn't see
I was
that.
going to bring that up later, but it's topical, I guess. But a guy wrote an article. So Embiid has talked before about how when he lost his brother, that was a huge thing for him. He never saw him in America. Like his brother came over and tried to visit him. They weren't able to link up, and he considers that like an inflection point in his life of like, I want to play and live for my brother. And he named his son after his brother. Well, a columnist in Philly decided that he wanted to write the angle of, hey, you're not really honoring your dead brother by taking rest days and by not playing in every game.
Okay.
And
Philly's brutal.
Embiid was like, hey, listen, dude, like, say whatever you want, but this is out of bounds. I've played through a lot of injuries in the city. I've given the city everything I've got. This is bullshit. And the guy, the reporter, to his, I guess, credit, showed up the next day, and Embiid pretty much attacked him. Like confronted him and had him by the scruff. It was like, we don't play that.
Okay.
It's good times. I'm glad I don't have to go in locker rooms.
Yeah,
I
it's a
guess.
good reason not to be a beat writer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Philly's, that's the toughest place I ever played by far. I mean, they knew when the bus was rolling up, and when the bus rolled up, it was the dad, it was the 8-year-old, and there was a lot of middle fingers. And you're like, man, you're teaching your 8-year-old already how to flick off the bus? Like, and then that was, you walk out the tunnel, and they just tell you, like, leave your helmet on. Just leave your helmet on because something's probably going to get thrown at you. And then it was still remember it to this day, but I don't know if they paid these people to be there or not, but they had hecklers behind our bench, and these guys, they were pros. They knew everything. They crushed the O-line. I don't know if it was just that game or if they always go after the O-line, but they knew every fact about the O-line. Like they were calling out like girlfriends' names from like college, high school, all that.
Oh my God.
Wives' names, like the whole deal until finally it was like third quarter. We're winning too. We won the game, but our O-line was turning around trying to fight them. Like trying to get in the stands, and security was running over there, the whole deal. But it's like, man, these guys, I'm like, please don't say my name, whatever you do. I hope they didn't research me. But yeah, Philly was tough, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a great place to play.
So let's say an average NFL Sunday. I know some guys just like don't watch the league after they retire. Are you a big NFL guy?
Man,
Locked
so
in?
I was done playing. My brother was still playing. And my younger brother was playing a little bit too. So I big time, like after I was done playing, I was big time into it. I realized what sports betting was too at that point. And I liked to bet games and thought I had an edge at that point as well. So
Who doesn't?
Yeah, I feel like I did though. Like,
I know.
I actually won a lot, but it became a problem because I'd be watching a Sunday game, a blowout, and I'm the only one watching the game still. And everyone's like, hey, you want to play some cornhole or like do something else? I'm like, no, hold on. This is a huge play. They're up by 30. Hold on. So realized it was a problem at that point, and I stopped doing it. And even if it's not a lot, like even if you put 100 on a game, you're still like all in on it, right? And so kind of chilled out there. And then once my brother stopped playing, I don't watch nearly as much as I used to. I used to watch every single weekend, and now it's kind of if I can catch a game, I'll catch a game.
You want to do Today in Twitter or around the NFL? What do you want to do?
I think Today in Twitter would be fun.
Okay.
I think with some of these videos would be fun, especially since we're talking about Pennsylvania.
Should we play the Open?
Sure.
The Dumb Zone presents Today in Twitter.
So this took off over the weekend and kind of got a life of its own, but Jason Kelce now works for ESPN. So I've even heard talk that they might be trying to give him a late-night talk show. You know how they've tried that like a dozen times, or they'll give somebody, basically try to make it like a Tonight Show or the Late Night Show, the Late Show.
They did it with the Wheel of Fortune guy.
Oh, yeah. Pat
Sajak had one for.
Pat Sajak had
for a
one, and
minute.
also on FS1, Regis Philbin had one. Katie
Magic
Nolan.
Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's a bad idea because Scott Van Pelt's show is already pretty much perfect for that medium. It feels almost like a late-night show. He gets a player from whatever big game there was that night. There's opinion. There's kind of bits. So, I don't know. It seems like ESPN's just trying to cash in on the Kelce wave right now. So he's everywhere. He's on the Monday Night Crew, which we'll hear from in a minute. He's at big-time college games.
We are probably, many years ago I declared, Chris, that the nation was over-baconed. We just started putting bacon on everything. Then I think we became over-bearded, which I enjoy. But, we're now over-Kelce'd. Just a
It's not
bit
their
too
fault,
much.
though.
I guess it's all media and society, but, once he hooked up with Taylor Swift, then their podcast kind of got more notoriety because of that, and now it's like we just need all the Kelce we can get.
Yeah. Well, Jason Kelce is certainly benefiting from that. And I think he's good on the air.
Yeah.
But he's also a wild man.
I'll bet he likes bacon, too.
Probably.
And he
And hey,
loves
I don't
his
want to
beard.
come out against bacon here. To be clear, that's an island for you.
Okay.
pal.
I'm just saying. It's just a fact.
So he was at Penn State over the weekend for Big Noon, the Penn State-Ohio State game. And there's a couple different angles of this video, but the one that I want to play for you that Rob has is...
Do they just have him on
Yeah, he was...
the panel or the...
Yeah, pretty much. Not like full panel.
Okay.
He's not up there with...
Because I was thinking he didn't go there. He went to Cincinnati, right?
No, I think he was just there for the game.
All right.
There for the game at a good time until this happened. So he's in the parking lot. It looks like he's carrying like a case of beer, walking through campus, and he's drawing large crowds to him. Dumbass college kids are yelling at him. And then one of them decides to yell about his brother being a gay slur for dating Taylor Swift. And this is how that unfolded.
You pussy ass bitch. Travis Kelce, you get that on camera. You get that on fucking camera. Travis Kelce broke my phone. How about that? Send that to the news. Send that to the news.
So I should have put the other...
Kind of ballsy to put it in after he was yelling "you're a faggot," right?
Well, yeah, he yelled...
'Cause then Kelce, I saw, took some blowback for saying "who's the faggot now,"
Correct. And so that's what... I mean, I
which
figured
doesn't really
probably
track
everyone's...
logically, I suppose.
Probably everyone's seen the other one. I should have put
Now
the
that I
other
have
one in
a,
too. But
yeah.
the kid's yelling, how does it feel to be blank because your
Because your
Your
brother's
bro-
dating.
It's very
Taylor-
confusing.
It didn't make sense.
very confusing. Like, how does it feel to be gay for having sex with a woman? It's like, okay. So he breaks the phone. But then the part that there is where he runs up and like checks him. Like this kid, this Penn State co-ed runs up and like hip checks Jason Kelce.
Oh, really?
That's what it
Okay, so
looked
he's
like
like
to me. And he's like, yeah.
Trying to incite him.
Yeah.
To,
Yeah, and he breaks his phone, and then he runs back up there and wants to grab the phone. Like this. That kid's lucky to be alive.
Does he
Yeah.
think he's Travis?
I don't know, because in the first video he does say your brother.
Well,
He's calling him Travis there.
That was very weird.
You know how it is.
Hammered.
Yeah, it's big noons there or whatever.
But isn't it 8 a.m.?
You've been up since 7 drinking.
Probably.
But I don't know that there's a level of drunk that I could have gotten to that would have had me taking a physical in-person run at an NFL offensive lineman.
No,
While he walks off, I'm yelling pussy-ass bitch at him. I just don't see – there's not enough alcohol on earth.
No. But you're a sports fan.
These kids are out of control. Like, that's a level of –
Jeez.
So, in the first video, we didn't have, like, Kelce actually responding, who's the faggot now?
Yeah.
And it's funny because everybody's like, the Swifties are like, what do we do? Like, at first we thought he was against this, but now he's saying it, but he's not really saying it, calling the guy that, or I don't know.
No. Yeah, it's a difficult
So, of course,
minefield to navigate.
Because he is, a guy who's been in a locker room for forever, or he just does a podcast with his brother. Now he's a suit. Now he works for ESPN, and you can't do that if you work for ESPN, I guess. This is very awkward.
I wonder does McAfee have to apologize if he did that?
Yes. Yeah.
McAfee does anything he wants, dude.
I know, but I think no matter the circumstances, if you're yelling the F slur, you're probably going to have to apologize. Probably.
What if you're saying I love the...
That's an interesting twist.
Unless you're yelling that this means a cigarette in Britain.
Correct, yeah. So here's a little bit of his apology. It's right at the start of Monday Night Football's pregame.
And, guys, we have a weekend full of NFL action that we want to get to, and obviously we have a significant game to talk about as well with the reigning two-time champs who have not lost, and we will get to all of that. But, Jason, I know you got some stuff on your mind, and I want to give you the floor to say what's on your mind.
Right there. You're just like, I don't want to be doing this.
I mean, as you know, I long disagree with this. Maybe make your apology on social media, since that's where it all happened. Like, if you bring this to the air, you are now telling how many millions of people that this happened, and they now have to go search it and find out that you did it.
Yep.
Like, don't apologize. You're just doubling the amount of people that even know this is a thing.
It's kind of different now because so much of real news coverage is about stuff that happens on social media, But I don't know. I still don't know that he had to do this. But
I don't think he had.
The key thing is you can tell how much he doesn't want to.
Right.
Listen, I think everybody's seen on social media everything that took place this week. That's what I'm. Listen, I'm not happy with anything that took place. I'm not proud of it, and in a heated moment, I chose to greet hate with hate, and I just don't think that that's a productive thing. I really don't. I don't think that it leads to discourse, and it's.
Boy, he's trying to hit the bingo card here,
yeah.
Isn't he? Hate, discourse, productive,
and it's the right way to go about things. And in that moment, I fell down to a level that I shouldn't have.
Bingo.
So I think the bottom line is...
That's not who I am.
It's not who I am. Anybody who knows me.
I want to live my life. I try to live my life by the golden rule. That's what I've always been taught.
That's a good one.
I try to treat people with common decency and respect, and I'm going to keep doing that moving forward. Even though I fell short this week, I'm going to do that moving forward and continue to do that. So, I think we got a game to focus on.
There we go.
There you go.
Matchup. I don't think this is the platform to necessarily go into more detail.
But I was told to say this.
Yeah, but they made me.
I like
much
the paycheck.
respect, bro. All respect, my friend.
Much respect.
No doubt.
Yeah,
you have more to say. We'll be listening with that, and in the meantime,
okay,
pretty awkward
be
dismount
listening for that.
Yeah.
God, it makes it worse that someone had to lead him into it.
Oh, I know.
Jason,
what do you saw? It's like whenever they had Tubin on CNN.
Boy, it looks
Remember
like
after
you're really
he got caught
itching to say
jerking
something
off?
here.
They're like, what happened, Mr. Tubin? Yeah, that's
it's just like your dad making you apologize.
Oh my God, the worst.
Sorry.
Say it. Tell him you're sorry, and he's standing there.
I'm sorry. Look at him. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I don't know. There's a very specific genre that's occurring here, which is offensive linemen having to apologize for something he doesn't think was wrong.
Right.
which I really enjoy. Like, that guy's like, whatever.
Like
I wasn't trying
some
to...
little runt comes up to me yelling that at me.
And a year ago, he was doing this in the NFL.
Like, he's lucky it's just his iPhone that got broken.
Yeah.
And not his nose.
But some dork in an office is like, yeah, you gotta say something. And he's like, why?
Because a 19-year-old going after a finance degree got in his grill.
Let's stick with Philadelphia or stick with Pennsylvania. This is a video from the Eagles game on Sunday, which they attempted to lose. I love what's happening with the Eagles right now because they're winning games and still able to really hate their coach. There's like the perfect Philadelphia Eagle experience.
Oh, yeah.
He had a couple fourth down calls.
They're so mad at Sirianni now.
Really weird. I mean, they almost lost that game.
They can't do the tush push anymore.
Failed.
They're saying
twice.
Maybe because of Kelce being gone.
Yeah. So there was a throw airmailed into the stands, and just watch this and tell me what you would have done.
Okay.
So you got Hurts drop back, way overshoots the end zone here. Fan catches one in the front row, and what's his play? I'm going to spike it back onto
and hands back in pockets.
Yeah.
His lady next to him was like,
what are you
doing? Could have had a football.
So do you know, Chris, do the fans get to keep a ball in the stands like that? I've always assumed no.
Yeah, you can keep it.
You can?
Yeah.
I thought they'd
if
make
you
him give it
kick it
back.
into the stands, you get fined for it, or you got to pay for it.
Right.
But, yeah, if a fan catches, they can keep it. And they give it to him. I mean, you see it where a guy catches a touchdown and then goes and gives it to a fan.
That's true, yeah.
So, yeah, for sure.
But I would actually say, if I played, I might want a special football or helmet, etc. But if I'm a fan, I think the experience of catching a rocket from an NFL quarterback and spiking it is actually cooler than having the ball.
It's way cooler than a baseball.
Yeah,
just because the odds.
Yeah. And, I mean, people were like, this guy's an idiot. That's a free souvenir. I'm like, no, this video is his souvenir.
What a half-ass spike,
It's
dude.
really – it's not a Gronk spike.
That was weak. I would have kept the ball for sure.
Really?
I caught a ball from Hurts for sure. And then if they wanted to see it, go show them the video. But
that's true, but I don't know.
It's expensive, man. That's a nice ball, and not many people get them. So I would definitely keep that, especially a game-used one.
But also a very Philly move of just guys in the moment. And he's like, I'm spiking it. There was when they played the MLB playoffs in Arlington during COVID. You could play here, long story, whatever. But there was a fan in the stands who caught. Do you remember whose home run it was? Was it a Dodger?
No, but I remember his name because we had him on.
A fan in the stands caught a home run ball in one of the championship series, and in a moment of panic, threw his glove onto the field.
Nice.
Not the ball. Like Cub style, he's just like, oh, well, I got this glove.
Did they let you keep your? Did you keep your touchdown?
I got my touchdown ball. Yeah.
Okay.
Have to bring it next time.
Yeah, we'll go out, toss it around in the backyard.
Yeah.
Have a good time.
Oh man,
Get a little game going.
I got some signed ones from my brother signed some, and my kids took them and started throwing them around the house. And I'm like, well, all right, well, I guess we could get some more of those, but don't usually see that happening.
That's what I did as a kid too. I remember one of my prospective stepdads, one of the guys that was my mom, a lot of boyfriends would run through, and
as it were.
And he might, hey, I got this ball signed by whoever, Joe Carter or somebody, and I didn't want it just to sit there.
It's
I
the
wanted
classic,
to get outside and play with
the Sandlot story.
Yeah, for sure.
They've got the ball from the Babe.
Okay.
And he didn't. He's like, who's this?
Yeah.
Big weekend of drama in the NFL. Let's go to New Orleans. That's a tough situation. As a team that steamrolled the Cowboys has now lost every game since then.
Dude, it's really unbelievable.
And had to fire their coach mid-season.
The last game they won.
I think so, yeah, right?
Was the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Have they lost
7? I want to say 7 in a row.
Yeah, 2
I
and
believe
7.
so.
Yeah.
And boy, we were like, oh, man. I could have picked the Saints to win the division. I mean, it all looks so good.
New offensive coordinator, Kubiak.
Yeah, he was going to be the next head coach.
Interesting new scheme. Carr was putting up
is Derek Carr
numbers.
finally become the quarterback? Have you seen all those Derek Carr things out, too?
It's a lot of memes. Well, he's lost every team now?
Every team except the Raiders.
Okay.
And he's never played the Raiders.
Oh, no.
And they play the Raiders this year. Let's see. No, but I saw the thing about most losses as a starting quarterback through numbers of seasons. And after 4 seasons, it's actually David Carr.
That's tough.
And the most in NFL history, losses. After 5 seasons, it's David Carr. He lost 10 more games that next year. He's 43-53. After 6 seasons, David Carr. Now after 7 seasons, it's Derek Carr. And then Derek Carr, the most losses by any quarterback in NFL history after 7, 8, 9, 10, and now 11 seasons, he's tied with Archie Manning with 91 losses. And yeah, now he's lost to every team except for the Raiders. The first quarterback, he was tied with 9 other quarterbacks in having lost to 30 different teams.
Jeez.
And he's now lost. He's the first quarterback to ever lose to 31 different teams. And yeah, week 17, the Saints play the Raiders.
You ever met him?
I haven't. No.
Who, Derek Carr?
Yeah.
Does he wear eyeliner?
I don't know. Haven't met him.
It kind of looks.
You didn't walk up and kind of rub your finger on his eye and see if that's real or not.
Make him cry to see if it runs.
You don't really meet that many players. It was kind of a ongoing joke that I'd never met Tom Brady until last year.
Really?
So yeah, I never met Tom. My brothers, all the brothers that played besides me played with Tom at some point.
Huh.
And then my oldest brother lived in New England, so he always saw Tom at events and different stuff that he did with Rob. But yeah, I never met Tom until just recently at an event. But it's kind of like an ongoing joke because when you ask me, about Romo or a player or whatever, everyone would ask me about Tom. Like, what's Tom really like? And I have no idea. And everyone thought I was joking, but I never actually met Tom.
You kind of seem pretty okay with not like shoving yourself into limelight.
Yeah, I'm
pretty chill
with it. Yeah, I don't need it. I see what my brother goes through, and there's a lot of benefits, and there's a lot of things that are great about not being in it. And all the videos you see of him partying, I was probably standing right next to him, but nobody cared. So,
do guys want to fight you?
The guys want to fight me
or him or what? Like
take a
NFL
run
players,
at the big dog.
Yeah, you know, they think
every once in a while you get it, especially if you're playing something competitive. Like we used to play, we played a pickup softball game once when we were still playing in the league, and it almost ended in a fight. They started walking us, and Rob's telling them you're too scared to even pitch to me, the whole deal, and
just too much high tea, man.
It's so funny. Yeah.
It's good to lose tea.
Since you brought up the Patriots, did you ever meet Aaron?
It just in passing or at a club, something like that. But
I assume you're not watching that show.
I'm not watching the show.
Ever meet who?
Aaron Hernandez.
Oh, okay.
It's a wild show.
All I know is the one guy that is Rob in the show is one of our good friends, and
I heard that. Has he done stuff for Rob before? Not by body double, but has he been involved somehow before?
Just friends. We've been friends with him, and then he started acting, and now he's Rob, which is hilarious because he knows him so well. So he's pretty good at being him.
It might be fake. I might have gotten Ballsack Sports duped, but I think Lifetime, the ladies' TV channel, is actually putting out a movie this holiday season that is loosely based on Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, football player and singer. And they're having a holidays together, and the actor is the same guy.
Is it?
He's just the guy who plays tight ends and dramatizations now.
The guy that's playing Gronk?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Probably Lath Chaz is his name, but yeah.
I got to be honest, he kind of nails the Gronk role.
Oh, he's great at it. He's hung out with Rob for years at this point, so he's pretty spot on with it.
So the other thing that occurred regarding the Saints was Derek Carr threw a ball over the middle. Chris Olave had to be stretchered out after this. He got just absolutely mollywopped. And defensive receiver flag.
Mollywopped?
You're not familiar?
Just haven't really heard that term, no.
You?
I have never heard someone actually say that.
Did I make it up?
You've heard it? Katie's heard it.
He got destroyed.
Okay.
4th concussion in 3 years, and
I'm gonna start using it.
So before the game even ended,
so just a high throw,
it was right across the middle. There was clearly he was covered, and there's this downhill safety.
Because I remember Troy used to talk about that. you got to protect your receivers too. You can't lead them into just
and
getting
apparently
destroyed.
this is something that people have criticized Derek Carr for before. And one of those players is someone he used to play with, the very mercurial, weird case of Michael Thomas, who I swear to God at one point was the most unguardable receiver I've ever seen in my life.
Absolutely.
And then
fell off.
And he was.
I think injury
was a big
probably
part
got
of
him
it,
there,
but
he
he's
was
an
obviously a
interesting-
fantasy darling.
Yeah, and he's a little bit, I don't want to say off, but like my brother was with the Saints when he was there a lot, and he's like, Mike's a different dude. He's a cool guy, but he's just different. So he's a free agent right now, and he's watching the Saints play on Sunday. He clearly still has a negative opinion of Derek Carr, so he decides this is his opportunity to go off about it. So Chris Olave gets hurt. Former teammate Michael Thomas decides it's Twitter time. And he started with, they fired all them coaches trying to cover his flaws up. He's still doing the same shit. Dude tried to lie and say I was jealous of them making Chris Olave wide receiver 1 the whole time. He can't even get him a decent ball. He need his ass whooped. It's right to the point. Let's see. That year, his buddy went first-team All-Pro in 2022. He needed 180 targets just to catch 100 passes. I believe that's Devontae. He is ass. And then instead of on my mama, he goes with, he is ass on my granny. It's a funny sentence to write out. He is ass on my granny. He says, a couple more. Dude's scary and panic and just throw the ball. Get him the F out of there. He's so ass. And Derek Carr, for you, I've been told, y'all, shit, sad. I don't know, that one doesn't make sense. But this thread here was quote tweeted and reposted by Josh Olave, who is Chris Olave's brother.
Golly, man.
Who at the time, his brother was still in the hospital. Like, it wasn't even... It was still...
This is a new thing.
That's what I wanted to ask Ski about here. Did you ever want to pop out on Twitter in the middle of a Bucks game or a Patriots game?
Protect your brother's honor?
Because in Dallas, this is a big thing. Even
Tad Prescott?
I've got one for you today.
Who do we got?
Micah's brother would like a word.
But
Terrence? What does Terrence want?
Zeke's mom, CD's mom, Dak's brother.
Zeke's dad, no.
Zeke's dad.
It's got to be
they
weird...
really like to let everybody know what the Cowboys are fucking up.
I wonder if the locker room
doesn't
guys
seem
know
helpful.
That.
Doesn't seem helpful.
No, I made the mistake of one time going on. They told me it was for Ice Shaker to go on to one of the Boston news radio stations or sports stations or whatever. And the first question was, and they started, I don't know, 1-3 or something like that. I think it was after they lost to Cincinnati. They ended up winning the Super Bowl that season, but it was after the game that they were 1-3, and they got me on and like, yeah, we'll talk about the product and really
we know the game. We've
we didn't talk about the product at all. I don't think we talked about it once actually. But the first question was, your brother was getting double covered. He looks frustrated out there. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I think anyone would be frustrated if they're getting double covered the entire game.
And now headline?
Gronk is frustrated with the Patriots offense, according to his brother.
Yep.
And I was like, man. So then the whole deal with, Belichick, telling Rob to tell me to shut the hell up and stop talking to the media. The whole deal, like my dad got burned on it too earlier because in the Super Bowl he had the high ankle sprain, and my dad said something about a high ankle sprain. So like Belichick was already all over the family with, don't talk to the media, shut your mouth, like the whole deal. So he was already pissed. So then Rob had to call me and tell me like, they're not going to actually promote your product. Like, don't go on the radio anymore. So that was the last time I tried, kind of like doing anything or talking about them or talking about any team. So I know that feeling, but I'm not on Twitter trying to, write that he's the best ever or anything like that.
That's interesting because there's no way McCarthy is going to Dak and saying, "Hey, call your brother."
No, that's just not how it works here.
Yeah,
there's
like
just no way.
That stuff's kind of more encouraged. Jerry's like, "Yeah, it gets people talking, man."
Oh, Jerry loves it.
Yeah,
Jerry
keep
loves
it up.
the news. He's
keep
all about
it
it, man.
In fact, tell him to tweet a little more.
Oh yeah, 5 presidents. You don't know him? The guy's an idiot. Let everyone know.
Yeah, so the Cowboys traded for Panthers wide receiver Jonathan Mingo. He was a second-round pick last year. He's in his this is today. They gave up a 4th and swapped 6th and 7th.
Yeah.
The resounding response is it's an overpay. He's still only in his second year, so it's a rookie contract. It's not a rental, but he's very unproven. Hadn't really shown much.
Did you do the same thing where it said Cowboys trade for Panthers wide receiver? Then you think, let's see, they just traded Deontay. Was it Thielen? No. Liggett? Nope. Mingo? He doesn't even play for the Panthers.
He's probably their fourth or fifth option right now. But Terrence Parsons had thoughts. So I promise I'm not going to go back and forth with you dick eaters. You get no cool points for trying to troll a team where all their top players is hurt. How is that fun for y'all? Y'all just look goofy. We trade Amari away for a fifth, but you trade for Jonathan Mingo for a fourth. This team is retarded. He just went ahead and said it. They got he says they get D-Hop, they get Deontay Johnson and Amari Cooper, and we get Jonathan Mingo. And his brother just has to deal with that.
I might have to side with Terrence on this one.
No, he's not wrong.
Got some good points. Yeah.
He's not wrong. It's just, I just feel like, what about your parents? Were your parents ever talk to the media types or message boards?
My
or
dad
anything?
got burned on the one, and then he learned his lesson. But I mean, that's the New England way too, though. Like you don't talk at all.
Kind of unless you're Brady's dad towards the end. He got a little out of pocket.
But that was it. So he got. I mean, my dad would be involved in the contract negotiations and all that as well. So he wanted to be on Belichick's good side for sure, and the Patriots organization's good side for sure. But he also wanted his sweet tickets in Rob's contract as well. So he said anything too crazy, he would have lost those, and then he would have been sitting in the stands. So
smart negotiator.
But I mean, he did it once, and he slipped, and he said Rob had a high ankle sprain before the Super Bowl, and that changed the whole strategy of the game and the whole deal, and Belichick just really rained down on Rob for that. So after that, my dad's like, I'm good. I'm not talking to the media ever again. It's all good. Whatever they want to say, they could say, but I'm not doing it.
So he'd get sweet tickets.
He's in his second contract. My dad made sure that there were some sweet tickets in there.
That's why I need to be involved in these contract negotiations.
Yeah,
to make sure Dad
put those
gets
in there.
Yeah, no, because we were just talking to Brandon Aubrey this morning, and he was detailing on how they got to pay for their tickets, or at least they pay the tax on the ticket.
Yeah, and road you pay, and it's a lot because it's the Cowboys.
Yeah,
I'll show you guys. I brought a little more show and tell. So I actually have a letter from Jason Garrett here. And I have one of my paychecks because just interesting. No one believes that you actually have to pay for the tickets, and no one believes that an NFL player pays taxes either. That's rich people don't pay any taxes. But really, my first check here is, I'll break it out here. But here we go. It was actually my second, and I was making $18,000 a game. But on this check, here's my actual check, but it's ends up being $9,500. So from there, we got you got to pay in every state you play in. So we have California on here. Looks like Ohio and Maryland as well. And then Canton. So we played in the Hall of Fame game. So this is from the first two games.
So they're taking taxes out in each of those places.
Each of those states. Union dues are on here. So I ended up paying $1,700 union dues in this check. Tickets, $437. So I probably had, I think, 4 tickets that game, something like that, where they take it out. So Jerry, he was actually a lot more favorable. Gave pretty good seats, and I think they're $100 for 100 level seats in the corner, which were for the Cowboys Stadium, second year, new stadium. That was pretty sweet deal. But yeah, overall, I mean, on a check worth $1,800, $9,000. That was my payday.
Worth $18,000. $18,000 turns into $9,000.
Yep, that was it. So pretty cool to see. And then I brought one other letter. So I don't know. I was digging through some of my stuff. My kids, they wanted me to dress up for Halloween, so I was digging through, found my helmet, stuff like that. But this was the letter of how much I was allowed to weigh. So
whoa,
from Garrett?
From Jason Garrett. So I actually argued it. This is the revised version because
I see it
for sure. I said that's not enough weight because I went into camp my first season at about 245, and by the end of camp I was like 228 pounds. I was like, man, at 228, I'm gonna get destroyed out here. So I asked them to bump it up, my max weight. So they came back and they issued me at 250. But that with that weight, and I don't know how many people realize that, but if you come in and I'm over 250, at that point I was getting fined $500 a day per pound per day. So if I went out and partied and I came back at 255, I was paying $2,500 per pound per day. $2,500 that day. If I kept it on, another 2,500, kept it on, another 2,500 until I lost that weight. So there's a lot of guys in the locker room, on Mondays with garbage bags on, just doing cardio.
Yeah.
Trying to sweat out a lot of partying.
I was going to say, there are other...
especially if they're on practice squad. But there's some guys that paid their whole check back because they wanted to have a good time on a Saturday and Sunday while, the team was playing and they were still on practice squad. But
yeah, the trash bag and the sauna, good for making weight. Also, I've heard not bad for a drug test. I do know that can help also. That's why
This is really weird.
Yeah.
So this is 2011, and it's during training camp.
Yeah, training. So you get issued at very very beginning of training camp. You get issued your playing weight.
And it's so. I mean, it sounds like Garrett, but I was going to say it sounds very robotic. Which
this is standard though throughout the whole league. Every team I played on, I got issued a playing weight.
And it's Dear Chris Gronkowski.
It sounds so
formal. Yeah, like
he's writing a congressman.
And it has to be in print so that they can follow up and say, "We actually told you." They can't verbally, hey
sure.
man,
so they can
paper trail.
They can take it right out of your check. You can't argue it.
This is to inform you that your assigned weight for the season is, and then in red, 250, underlined. This weight has been determined by discussions among the strength and conditioning staff, the trainers, your position coach, and myself. They didn't decide maybe 248.
Right.
It has to be a round number. Your current weight, your body fat percentage, and previous weight history were all taken into consideration. We feel your assigned weight gives you the best opportunity to play at your highest level. If you have concerns or questions, please contact Coach Wojcik.
Yeah, strength coach at the time. Yeah.
Okay. Don't talk to me.
It's pretty good.
Have
that you knew
other
that.
things to do, and yeah. Sincerely, Jason Garrett.
So yeah, I actually have a whole Cowboys playbook still. Before they went to the surfaces,
That's
I
very
have
cool.
an actual printed out playbook that I don't think I'm supposed to have, but I have it.
They didn't let you keep that helmet.
They didn't let me keep
But
the
you got
helmet.
the flavor.
I realized everything in my locker. If I just take it, I'm good. So
Solid.
I should have just took my helmet, but.
How'd you leave the Cowboys? Cut, traded?
So I got cut.
Free agent? Okay.
I got cut after my first season. I was lucky enough to get picked because I lost at that time practice squad eligibility. If you played, you lost it. So I was actually, I played every game my rookie year, and then I lost practice squad eligibility, so I had to make a roster after that. I got released. They said they didn't want to use a fullback. They're going to use a tight end kind of deal, whatever. I got picked up by the Colts, and then they had to give me a roster spot. First fullback in the Colts history in the Peyton Manning era. So they knew at that point that Peyton couldn't throw a ball and that they wanted to use a fullback. So I got there. They had 6 plays in the playbook for a fullback. I was like, this is going to be
easy to remember.
It's going to be a pretty interesting year for me.
Did you meet Irsay?
Yeah, for sure.
So you definitely met two of the more, I don't know, let's just say interesting.
Yeah, he was around. You saw
Nurse?
him.
Yeah.
Irsay was definitely around. You saw him. I got to meet Pat McAfee before he was, the real Pat McAfee now, but same guy then. He's the only guy that would sit there on Twitter all day, and I'm like, man, why are you even writing back to these people? Like, why are you arguing with some random person on the internet? Because that wasn't a thing back then, right? And
worked out for him.
I tore my pec week 7, and I was done, so I always was in the training room rehabbing, and Pat was in there a lot, and he'd just sit there, and he's tweeting, and I'm like, man, this guy's an idiot, right? Like, what are you doing? But it was kind of like this whole game plan that he had. He would do shows on the weekend. He did like a whole tour in the off season, and his following on Twitter just, started very small and then blow up by the end of that season. I'm like, man, this dude's at like 1 million followers on Twitter, and it just, kind of feel like he knew, that he had a path afterwards of going into media and doing something. But at that time, I was like, man, I don't want to talk to anyone. I don't want people talking trash to me. Like, I'm cool. I don't want to touch social. But he did, and because he did it when he was still playing, it was such a powerful tool.
Smart dude.
Very smart.
Yeah, that was real early in the Twitter game.
Very early. That's all there was. It was just Twitter at first. Instagram really wasn't a thing. Couldn't really use Facebook or fan pages at that time. It was really just Twitter.
So tell me about what's going on with the Bears, Dan. I know you put some audio in there, and I purposefully avoided it, or one of the two of you did.
What was that? Let me take a look. I was just looking at the that Colts team that you were on. So
Yeah.
Peyton, was that his injury year?
It was our 0-13 year. I was lucky enough to get out of it after 7 games.
Dan Orlovsky.
Orlovsky.
Another
is,
social media guys on there.
Yep. We had Curtis Painter, untested, right? He sat behind Manning for all those years, and then he had to play.
Ooh, yeah, there's the test.
And he got tested, and that was it. And then Orlovsky came in, and I think we had a couple other guys come through there as well. But I was hurt week 7. I had to have surgery, and I was done for the season. But it was a tough season. I thought I'd play there forever, and then came back the next year, rehabbed, and offensive coordinator came in and said, we'll never use a fullback in this offense. And got a tap on the shoulder, and I got a plane ticket handed to me. And the same day I was in Denver.
I always think this. Did you ever think about, man, what if I learned how to long snap?
I tried.
Did you?
My first season with the Cowboys, they had LaDuce.
Because you could have a 20-year career doing that.
He was there for like 17 years. He didn't try to tackle anybody. I'm like, man, all this guy does is
They're not even allowed to line anyone up on you.
He's not even allowed to hit anyone.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't even try to hit anyone. He just snaps it perfect every time. And so the entire offseason after my rookie year, I tried to learn the long snap, and I just wasn't natural at it.
Really?
Like,
so it's a thing. You
you have to actually like be really, really good at it. I
have
mean,
like
one of the best in the
coordination
world.
or something? Okay.
It's just a perfect snap every time. And if you have one bad snap, I mean, you lose a game for a team and you're cut. So you got to be perfect every time.
So one off season, that's all you did, and you just couldn't.
I tried the whole off season. I tried for months at a time. Watched YouTube videos. Like, I didn't have anyone professionally train me, but every day I snapped and I couldn't do it.
Damn.
Yeah, I should just have my kids start doing it now.
Not a bad idea. Just
that or kicking, man.
They lift only triceps.
It's a solid. I mean, you get pretty bored. They're pretty good at throwing the ball and having it bounce back up perfectly to them, because that's all they do all day. They just play different games because they have nothing to do all day.
It's an incredible thing that you need
job.
one roster spot for that.
Yeah.
You have
I
to.
mean, again, LP did it for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do I have in the Dropbox? You say it was the Bears?
Yeah, I just know there's Matt Eberflus, DJ Moore controversy.
Yeah,
And
no,
saw
I
you
have
put it in
notes
there.
on every game, and I'm trying to remember why. The Bears lost to
The Cardinals.
Bad.
We got the Kyrie reverse Call of Duty effect taking place. He's actually balling.
Yeah.
Even though there's a new Call of Duty.
What, in the last 2 weeks or so? Is that when it was released?
This was released last week, I think, right?
Yeah.
I just got a code for it.
Oh, that's right, before the Miami game.
Yeah.
And
just came
then
out.
they ended up beating
Yeah.
Miami, and then they destroy Chicago.
Still-
Okay.
You still pick up the sticks and hit a little Call of Duty?
It's actually one of my old marketing agents from the NFL was like, hey, man, here's a code for the game if you want to download it. And I was like, man, my kids play, but I don't. But, yeah, I played every day when I was actually playing in the league, because it's a great way to just relax after practice. I never played Madden or anything like that. It was always like Call of Duty or Halo or something like that, a first-person shooter. But a lot of guys play, and then a lot of times you'll get on the sticks with like other players on your team too, and just have just kind of relax and have a good time.
What would you say about the idea, speaking of Halo, of a guy, let's say he's, how old are you, Blake?
Well, you're letting the cat out of the bag.
Well, how old are you?
Sounds like a good story.
32.
So this is a random guy. He's about 32, has a kid. He goes and spends his weekends actually watching other people play Halo in person. But just hypothetically.
I did that once because we invested in an esports team. And
Which one?
So it was the Boston Breach.
Yeah.
So Call of Duty team.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're still in business or not at this point.
Man, there's so much turnover.
It's a pretty terrible investment from my understanding. So don't invest in esports teams.
No.
But I tried it once. I mean, it's a pretty cool atmosphere, but I don't think I'd ever watch another tournament.
Okay, just wanted to check.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that a frequent occurrence over
He
here?
goes a lot.
They have one here, one or two here a year, and I'll go. I'm invested. And even when they're playing elsewhere, I'll have it up on the stream, because, like you said, it's a hobby. It turns into a hobby, and you try to get like good at it. You're competitive. You're naturally competitive, so you want to see the people that are best at it play, and you want to try to learn. And
it's kind of like golf, I think. Like I played, didn't really ever care about watching someone play golf until I tried to play myself, and then
yeah, you just naturally want to watch people who are good at it.
Like porno.
Yeah.
Exactly like porno.
That's when I first tried.
It's all I'm doing is just
trying to
the
learn.
tape. Yeah.
So the audio I have in there is DJ Moore. He has a weekly radio show.
Oh, good.
And it is not them asking him about. Did you see a viral video clip?
Yeah, where he walks off the field.
Where he Caleb Williams is scrambling. He's actually buying a bunch of time. Does a spin move or something. But DJ Moore was near the sideline. Caleb did not try to hit him. He spins around, and DJ Moore just walks off to the bench. During the play, there's another 4 or 5 seconds in the play, and there's one less receiver out there that his quarterback could throw to. And I guess they're kind of a mess right now.
But that's not a singular event.
Yeah, he's got he's had an effort problem. For sure.
No, JT O'Sullivan, who does the quarterback school, he does Caleb almost every week, and every week he is pointing out what is number 2 doing.
Really?
Because he's got a huge effort problem right now.
Wow.
And so that checks out for him.
Well, the radio host will ask him, and the question might be in here too. But is Matt Eberflus? Has he lost the team? Because there's questions about that dude before the season even.
Oh yeah.
Whether they wanted to have him in there, and him with the number 1 draft pick and all that kind of stuff. Then he grew a beard, and everybody's like,
oh, look how cool he is.
Look, he looks a lot better this year. He looks more confident.
It
Seriously.
works.
Yeah. Anyway.
Wonder from the outside, has Matt Eberflus lost his football team? So I'll ask you, has Matt Eberflus lost his football team?
I want to say no. The message yesterday was that we know we 4-4 now. It's just like being 0-0. But
now, the question is, did he say, I won't say no, or I want to say no?
Yeah.
So I'll ask you, has Matt Eberflus lost his football team?
I want to say no.
Sounds like I won't say no.
I don't want to say no.
Yeah, but then he follows it up with the context of it. It seems like he's saying...
If I want to say no?
Yeah.
I want to say no.
I don't want to say no. That's what I'm hearing.
I want to say no.
I don't want to say no.
But then he gets into
he
like,
lost,
hey, we're 4-4.
Double negative means.
How's 4-4 like 0-0?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense either.
That's
right. Only if other teams are 4-0.
Yeah,
we're 8-8. Okay. 0-0.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does seem like a bit of a mess up there.
You want to look elsewhere around the NFL, or do you want to take a break, or what shall we do?
Man, I'll leave that up to you.
What's your bit today, Chris? Are you rolling? You need to roll out of here?
bad. I mean, I ran out of goodies in my bag. I might have to go get some more notes for you to read.
Okay. I mean, if we take a break, then you can walk away, or you want to hang out for a little bit more? What do you want to do?
Hey, whatever you guys want me to do.
Okay. Well, we'll hang out.
I'll check my phone. I'll see if I actually have to work.
Let's look just a little bit more around the league, I guess.
Yeah, do a couple more. The Lions aren't effing around. That's my entire diagnosis of the NFL right now.
Okay, let's get to the Lions. I had one college football note because, we're not hard into college football a lot here, but I did want to tell you, like last week, what did I tell you about that Mike Elko press conference? They were raising a victory banner. They were a mission accomplished banner. They were talking about why are things different around here. Things are better now. And these players don't. They bought in, and once you start having that talk, you are saying, "Well, we are here. This is as far as we wanted to go." And then they got punched. Was that your triple play this week?
Yeah, it was, Dan. It was. Turns out
you only missed it by.
It was.
They got destroyed.
Pretty close at halftime.
It was tied.
It was
at
tied.
halftime.
That's right. I thought it was
the cry of the loser.
I think you only missed it by 28 points.
Because we were close at halftime.
He got beat up pretty bad in the second half.
So where did you want to start?
I mean, just watching the Lions the other day, it's like I wish I were a Lions fan.
Dude, I am a Lions fan.
You have freedom. I'm tied to the Cowboys.
Well, we had Dan Campbell on our show for years, and so we consider him friends. So
their offense has scored more touchdowns than Goff has thrown incompletions over the last 6 games.
That's right. 28 touchdowns, 24 incompletions.
Ridiculous.
All started with that 18 for 18 game, right?
Yeah, the night game.
Is he the MVP?
He might be right now.
Well, you got
Lamar,
Josh Allen, You could probably throw a little Jaden Daniels in there.
Yeah.
But he'll get Offensive Rookie of the Year.
And Goff is a really good story, which sometimes that helps in that regard. But and their whole team.
It's really weird, too, because their team is built in the image of Dan Campbell. They will punch you in the mouth. They'll bite your kneecaps, all that kind of stuff. Like, he is – it looks like that's the way they like to play. Like, we were worried about them going to Green Bay, bad weather, first outdoor game of the year. Goff isn't really good in bad weather generally. But they've got 2 really good running backs.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a tough offensive line as well. Like, that was Dan Campbell's first pick, wasn't it?
Penei
Sewell?
Sewell, yeah.
Yeah. And they lose Jamison Williams. He's been suspended. They lose Aiden Hutchinson against the Cowboys. And it's like, whatever. They go out and play, and they just go out and do it. And that's Dan Campbell. That feels like Dan Campbell. Yet you look at Jared Goff, and you're like, well, that doesn't fit the mold, does it? That's Jared Goff. He didn't know where the moon is, or whatever that whole old bit was.
Yeah, that was his training camp error the first time. He didn't know sunrises sets.
They lost Brian Branch. Did you see that?
Yeah.
He gets ejected for a questionable. Tom Brady was like, I don't know about that, if that should be an ejection. And then gave a double bird to the crowd. Speaking of, weren't we earlier? Somebody said something
Eagles
about
fans.
8-year-old.
Eagles
Okay,
fans. Yeah. Got to do it.
Got to do it. And yeah. And then they just destroy, they destroyed Green Bay. Jordan Love threw his 10th interception of the year. He had 11 last year. So he's got 10 already this year.
He's missed 2 or 3 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody wants any part of them.
They were up 17-3 at half. The Packers, this sounds like the Cowboys. They were down 17-3 at half. They had 8 penalties, 3 drop passes, a disastrous interception. That just feels like many Cowboy games this year, we could say. That was the Cowboys' first half. Detroit's now 7-1. Green Bay falls to 6-3. That's probably the best division in football, I would guess. If we could look elsewhere, maybe you can argue, but 7-1, Minnesota 6-2.
It's the best. The West is the most competitive fun, I think, the NFC West. Although any one of those
5-4, 4-5. Yeah.
Speaking of ejections, you see how about Puka Nacua? That was an interesting. Does that count as a punch?
I didn't think so.
When you punch someone in the helmet?
I don't even know if that was a full punch. There is a difference between a punch and like a face push.
It's more of a shove, I thought.
Yeah.
He didn't actually wind up and throw an actual punch.
Trent Williams was a punch.
That's a punch.
Yeah.
He said it's the first time he's ever been ejected from any game in any sport in his life.
Yeah.
How about you?
See that? Did I?
How about you, Ski?
I didn't get ejected. I got fined. Those weren't fun.
For what?
So I was always told you play till the whistle, right?
Yeah.
So and I'm a bubble player, right? I'm playing special teams. I'm playing everything, just trying to survive on the team.
Trying to stand out.
And so it was a punt, and I'm on punt return, and I just the ball was probably kicked out of bounds, and I just went and lit up my guy before the whistle blew, and I thought it was a great play, personally. And then I did a couple charity events that weekend, and I had this letter sitting in my locker, and I was like, cool, it's probably one of these thank you letters for the charity work. And I open it up, and it's like, you've been fined. It's coming out of your paycheck. If you want to if you want to argue it, you can call your agent and we could set something up. And found out really quickly that when you try to argue it, there's no chance. Like they already watched every piece of film, and they've already taken it out of your paycheck. So we did the whole, I did the whole call with my agent, and we called the league, and we tried to argue it, and never even got a response.
Do your agent? Wow. Your agent makes a percentage of what you make.
He does, yeah.
If you say, I want you to, because we dealt with lawyers. So if we were on a call with a lawyer for 15 minutes, we'd look later that month, we're like, he billed us for that? We were barely asked him anything. So if you ask your agent, hey, go to New York or appeal this for me, is it already he's being paid a salary, or do you have to pay extra for that?
No, he actually loses money on that because he gets 3% of what I get paid.
Okay, so it's not like extra for extra. Okay.
So if he appealed it and won, he would have I mean, it wouldn't have been a lot for him. It was Rosenhaus was my agent at the time, so I mean, $8,000, $9,000, and 3% of that wasn't probably worth his time. But yeah, it was worth my time. I thought that was a lot for a first-time offense, and for something I thought was actually legal. But they send over the whole league rules, and in the league rules it says unnecessary contact before or after the whistle. So it actually specifically states that. So I wasn't too happy about
subjective,
that.
though.
I feel like my high school coach, kind of screwed me on that.
He would have been proud, though.
He would.
Yeah.
Very proud.
All right, we have to bring up the Browns.
Oh, man.
Who
we were riding so high.
We were riding
week 1 of
high for
Jameis.
one consecutive week.
One consecutive.
Where they had scored 29 points, the first time they eclipsed 20 this year.
Big plays.
And now Jameis remembered that he's Jameis a little bit. I love Jameis. I love seeing him in there. But he threw 3 interceptions.
He'll do that.
They had 57 total net yards at halftime. And with those 3 interceptions, he eclipsed the 100 interception mark for his career. And Jameis got to 100 in the, the most interceptions in the first 100 games of his career since Matthew Stafford in 2016.
So you're saying there's a chance.
And though, obviously interceptions have changed over the years. And so I got to thinking, I wonder who's the fastest. I wonder who has the most interceptions after 100 games. In his first 100 games.
Can I guess? Well,
yeah,
no,
go ahead.
I don't want to guess. That's too many seasons.
Yeah, it's NFL history here.
Yeah. No, that's not what I meant. I mean, if you extended it out, because I was going to say Peyton.
In his first 100 games. That's a good guess.
But I think
fair guess.
That was chilling out by year 4, though.
Peyton, yeah. His first year, he had 20, 30 interceptions,
yeah.
whatever. But also just the league has changed to where you're really emphasizing that so hard now. But the league hadn't changed in the era of George Blanda, who is in the Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. Go take a look at his stats, and you'd be like, all right, how did he get in the Hall of Fame? He got in the Hall of Fame because of extreme longevity. Before Tom Brady, there was George Blanda. Now, Tom Brady was leading the league in passing when he was 40. How long did he play? 47? 46? I don't
46.
remember.
Yeah, I think 46.
Anyway, George Blanda played till the age of 48.
Started at the age of 22.
In his first year, he threw 21 passes. 5 were intercepted.
My God.
His first 100 career games, 251 interceptions.
Damn.
So, even Jameis, who we consider to be prolific at this stat, was nowhere near George Blanda.
Bro, listen to this. George Blanda is in the Hall of Fame. In 62, 63, 64, he was a second-team All-Pro. In 1962, he threw 27 touchdowns and 42 interceptions.
42 interceptions.
He had a 17-27 and
he was an All-Pro?
And he had a 20-30. Yeah, he was second-team All-Pro in all of those years.
And they went 11-3.
There's not a. Let's see. There's 1, 2. There are 3 seasons in 26 years where he threw more touchdowns and interceptions. He's a Hall of Famer.
And
stick around for a long time, I guess.
His completion percentage career 47%.
Damn.
Man.
You ever think about if you could just transport back and play in a different era? Current nutrition.
I'm actually not trying to play ever again. Yeah. Once I was done, it's pretty clear I didn't want to play anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for bumming me out. I was trying to give you a chance to go clean up on some World War II vet.
It would be cool, but if I was still 20.
Yeah, because we always joke about that. When you see the, respect to the legends, but you see the tape of guys in the 50s, and it's how far down could we go on the age scale before they could win? I'm positive Southlake's 9th grade team right now could absolutely dust them.
The 9th grade team? Oh, man.
The speed.
I mean, I think the high school team would compete for sure, but I'd have to watch them.
They had 175-pound offensive lineman.
Really? Back then?
They have 9th grade kids now, 6'2", 6'3", 240, 250. up front.
Yeah, that's grown men though.
Like, look at William the
175.
Refrigerator
That is grown
Perry.
men. Yeah, in my mind, he was 400 pounds.
Right, he was like 240 or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was something crazy. But even the Cowboys team of the 90s, I don't think they had a 300-pounder on the line.
Yeah, if they did, it must have been barely. I mean, the classic one is that Jerry was an offensive lineman.
Jerry Jones was an offensive lineman in
at
college.
Arkansas.
Anyway,
in 1961, he was the first team All-Pro kicker, George Blanda. He made 55% of his kicks.
Made more than he missed.
He made 1 out of 6 from 40.
they're like, no one will ever be better than this.
Made more than he missed.
The Browns didn't score that. They only scored 1 touchdown this game. It was with 44 seconds left, so they were down 27-3. And then they are now 2-7.
You doing numerology or something?
No, I'm just saying
Okay.
they're 2-7 now. Only one team has ever started 2-7 and made the playoffs. Washington, Pat, in the year 2000.
Huh.
And then let's just look around the rest of this division, and then we'll take a break. Oh, we should mention last night.
Yeah.
How about Baker, man? Grass-stained warrior.
He'll fight. Did you see the interview with DeAndre Hopkins after the game?
No.
It was funny. Like, look, I mean, he was there for the good Deshaun years, so it's not like he's always had bad quarterbacks. But in his second game with the Chiefs, he was really effective. Had a touchdown, had like 8 for 86.
Wait, you can just go out and acquire someone that wasn't on your team?
Where are you supposed to get players?
Bro, Jonathan Mingo.
Wait, they also had Kareem Hunt ran for 100 yards in the game-winning touchdown? So wait.
You're stuck with what you got. I don't want to hear this. The Cowboys are stuck.
All right.
But, you know, he caught a touchdown from Mahomes. He had a nice game. And honestly, he was about to cry in the post-game interview. Like, it's a regular season. He's just like, God, I've been waiting on this for so long. I'm so happy to be playing here for these coaches and with this guy. He's like, I manifested this moment. I was like, bro, it's like week 9.
What's the
Let's not have a religious experience here.
Tampa Bay coach?
Todd Bowles.
Todd Bowles.
You're out?
Got to go for 2, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
They scored a tie at the very end. And you're in Kansas City.
Yeah.
You're playing Mahomes. You're going to leave that to a coin flip? Did you see the video of Baker at the coin flip?
No.
Like when they won it, he's like, oh, like
he knows.
He knows. I just gave the ball to Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Why would you even give him that chance? You're looked at as ballsy if you don't. If you just, hey, let's do that. Like, that's a Dan Campbell move. This is how we play. We go for it.
Yep.
And that's not how they play. Anyway, elsewhere in the division, I don't know. Did we touch on Philadelphia already?
I mean, really the only fun Philadelphia thing other than the guy who spiked the ball is the sideline angles of people on the Eagles sideline watching the backwards hurdle.
That was pretty cool.
Saquon's spin move and hurdle.
Unbelievable.
Saquon, another guy who you could sign a free agent running back, and he's leading the league in second most. What's his name? The guy we wanted, Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry
is, I think, leading the league. Another 100-yard game. I think he
over
got his
1,000, right?
Already?
Over 1,000, yeah.
Yeah. Damn. Yeah, they run under center.
Will
they
the
run out of the
Cowboys
gun.
running backs all have 1,000 if you combine them this year?
Oh. For the whole year, yeah.
Possibly, especially with Dak out. By the way, Jerry said this morning he's going on IR.
What does that mean?
It means at least 4 games.
4 weeks, yeah.
Yep.
Catch our stream.
22-0 lead they had. Jacksonville kind of came back, but then Trevor Lawrenced it, threw an interception in the end zone to end the game. The tush push doesn't work anymore. Like I said, twice it was denied. And then I watched Jacksonville, and I wonder, how did Doug Peterson win a Super Bowl?
Yeah, he looks – I mean, I don't know. It's hard to judge anybody in Jacksonville, but it's not going well. He's about to get fired.
Yeah.
Maybe next Cowboys coach.
He'd be the next Cowboys coach?
I mean, they're almost certainly
man.
going to hire someone who's been an NFL head coach before. Jerry's not trying to hire some hot shit coordinator.
You don't think he goes Belichick?
Okay, well, that's another option. He's like obsessed with this idea.
I don't think that's ever going to happen.
You're convinced what?
Belichick's full control, man. Jerry's not going to give him full control.
That's why a lot of people say he might go to Jacksonville. Or not a lot of people. I think some people think that. Because they'll give him that.
Well, Belichick.
But he also wants, what?
He's enjoying himself. Saw his Halloween costume.
Oh, yeah, he is. He might be worn out. He might be too tired. He might have to get back into coaching to calm down. Yeah. Like 18-hour days would be less than having to keep up with a 23-year-old or whatever he's doing. And then, the Redskins beat the Giants.
The Commanders.
The Commanders.
He's never going to learn.
They're 7-2. The Giants are now 2-7. They'll also clean house. Also a possible Belichick spot, because that would full circle for his career. Did you see halftime stats for Daniel Jones?
No.
He was 4 of 6 passing for 0 yards and 1 touchdown.
You got to feel out the defense.
What?
He somehow had 0 yards but 1 touchdown. Because don't you get sacked and you lose those yards on passing something?
Yeah, and I mean, also you could have just thrown it behind the line.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
We consider a run, right? That'd be a run.
Right.
I guess that's true. Yeah. I guess that's true. Wasn't there a play in the Cowboys game where somebody blew up a shovel pass the other day and forgot that a forward toss is a pass? You know what I'm talking about? Like the Chiefs style shovel. That's a bad point then. All right, you guys can just sit there.
I'm not remembering.
It's fine. Whatever. Freeze me out. I don't care.
Well, that's what we do here.
Yeah, the Washington's a problem. I love watching them play. I mean, they have 2 backs. They're legitimately.
They signed Eckler.
Yeah, like, legitimately good. Noah Brown.
Force.
Somehow is like an effective NFL player, leading them in receiving yards for that game.
They love Dan Quinn, man.
Oh, how
Seems
could you
like
not?
everybody's ready to. You see those locker room videos, their pump-up speeches after the game and all that. It looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it does. I miss it.
It's good to see.
But our guy has an eye patch.
I don't know what that means.
Zimmer doesn't have the eye patch anymore, but I'm pretty sure he does still have the really hot.
That's right. He's got the Belichickian girlfriend.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So what do we do with Chris?
All right. Well, Chris, if you stay, we're going to take a break. And if Chris is here in a few minutes, then in a minute, then he's still here. If not, then we'll see you on Sunday.
And go buy an ice shaker.
That's right.
The Dumb Zone. Grown men in girls' bathrooms. Tampons in boys' bathrooms. Aborting 3-month-old toddlers? Paying Dak Prescott $60 million a year?
You're a fucking idiot.
These are the issues that radical lunatic Jake Kemp has built his house of cards upon. This November, vote for the candidate who believes women should have a vagina.
Paid for by salmon lovers against woke shitbags.
You're listening to The Dumb Zone.
Hey, let's remind everybody that we're on TV, guys. Might even be on there tonight. So if you get tired of watching us watch the election on YouTube, you can go over to Channel 27 and see DZTV. DZ stands for Dumb Zone. Know what I mean?
I do. Yeah, I do.
Know what I mean, Vern?
I do know mean.
Know what I mean, Vern?
Thank you for that respectful tribute.
Sure.
Okay. I feel like typically you're forcing Pee-wee on me like Pee-wee's forcing himself on other people.
I'm a new man.
Thank you.
Different guy.
We're all changing. So I have 2 notes for you before we get into the remainder of the show, which will feature news, and Brandon Aubrey. So it was my turn.
And Katie Harris.
That's right. Closing remarks. I did. It was my turn to go to the Mavs game last night. Blake went Sunday night, of course, for Pride Night. I went last night was called Alpha Big Balls Night.
Mm-hmm.
So I took that one, and Blake took Pride Night. When those were presented to us.
Yep. I did notice your halftime show.
Was it? I didn't watch it. Was it the like did they get out the trampoline and do like what was it?
It was a man and a woman on rollerblades.
Rollerblades, yeah.
Roller skates, just turning circles, and he was like picking her up and stuff.
Yeah, it was like sort of miming sex, but on rollerblades. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't watch it. I'm out of the game. I'm like Chris Gronkowski. You know, I played. I was in the halftime show space, and now that I'm done with it, I'm away from it. That's the closest I've ever sat, obviously, at an NBA game. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's truly, truly amazing. So there's the first 5 rows maybe. What would you say?
3.
3 rows on the floor, and then there's a small up step, and we were on the second row of that.
Yeah.
And it's just insane to be able to watch everything in between timeouts, to hear players talking. We were opposite the bench, but you could still hear everything the players would say to refs. Refs would say to them. It's a wild experience. Wild experience.
Didn't you feel like you didn't belong in those seats?
Yeah. So wife and I definitely. She doesn't really care about basketball, but NBA games are such an experience that, it's cool no matter what situation you're in. We definitely were having the, what do you think that person does about everybody who is in those first 3 rows? Like, what sort of startup bro is this guy who's got, a ponytail?
Where's all this money?
And he looks like he's 65, but he's got a 10-year-old son with him, It's like, man.
How can you afford those seats for 40 games?
Yeah.
And I noticed that they all have, good biceps.
Yep. Yeah, no fat people.
No.
No fats courtside at all, really. Even kids. What else was I going to tell you about that? It's a really weird experience because you do see the players talking to each other. You do see the ref talking. Did you ever zero in on Sean Heath, the PA guy?
Not outside of the time I noticed that he did say in honor of Pride Night, here is your electric violin player.
I don't know if he's a theater kid or what, but in a timeout they were doing the karaoke in the stands, and it was Outkast's Hey Ya. And my wife pointed out to me, this is in break, his mic is off, that Sean Heath just sits there and kind of does a finger wag. He's singing the whole song, and he's like, don't want to be your daddy.
No.
And he's shaking, Z-snapping, and I'm like, and then they come back, and he's like, all right, man, then. I'm like,
no,
the guy just never stops, does he?
No, he doesn't. And in fact, when I used to have to do the ESPN pre- and post-game, I would have to run a cable from the utility closet up through press row, and every game I would have to make him stand up because I'd have to run the cable under his chair. And every single time, he had a bit, he's just always on.
Yeah.
It was never an excuse me. Oh, sorry, thank you. It was, oh, hey, you're really messing up my flow here, and
he's just that guy.
He's always over the top.
I feel with Humble Billy, it was a deal where he wasn't, or even in a different way, Kevin McCarthy. Kevin McCarthy's an extremely chill dude.
Mm-hmm.
I just think Sean Heath is on tinning you all the time.
You like the Halloween costume?
He
was the only person
full on with makeup Beetlejuice sitting courtside at an NBA game. And then my other note, I forgot this in Today in Twitter, but it's very, very near and dear to the heart of our show. If you go ahead and put the image up there, Rob, we're going to play a game called Blake, What Did You Do? This is, of course, a tweet from Kirk Herbstreit and an image of a dog, a famous dog, Ben Herbstreit. You want to read the tweet, or you want me to?
I've read it. You can read it for the show if you'd like, for people that are just
I've had
listening.
so many people asking me about Ben that I wanted to let you know. Ben had his second chemo injection on October 23rd, and from that day he's been getting worse and worse. He lost use of his back legs. He's paralyzed. He can barely walk. He hasn't eaten in 3 days. The next 24 to 48 will tell us if he has a chance or not. You killed Ben.
I got a couple things.
Is this what you wanted?
Couple things here.
Please pray for Ben and hope he pulls out of it. I will.
So I saw this tweet last night. And
I bet you did. You had your "Is Ben dying" tweet alert on, and your phone started blowing
well,
up.
it actually had the keyword Ben muted, so I didn't. This had to be sent to me. And I did the thing where you type out a tweet and you're like, no, I shouldn't, and then you come back to a minute later with a tweet.
Pussy.
Yeah. So a couple things here on the Ben tweet.
Yeah, go on. The floor is yours.
One, no one's asking about Ben. Don't make up.
It
Don't
says
make
there
it up.
since everyone has been asking.
Don't make up that a bunch of people are asking because no one gives a shit about the dog.
Everyone is way different than no one.
Two, okay, you want to tell me that he can't use his back legs? Well, how about not parade him around every stadium for the past 2 years, up and down stairs of airplanes?
You make a good point.
Okay.
Nobody's asking their grandma with cancer to run a marathon.
Right. Yeah, he's going through a hard time.
We did the stair walk.
It's probably not good for a dog to be flying on an airplane all over the country. Maybe a little bed rest would have helped Ben. In fourth, don't you have like a wife and kids? Like he says this is the heart, like he loves this dog like more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Wife? Kid?
Yeah.
I see his point there.
It's a dog. I mean, honestly, I do too.
Yeah.
The dog ain't leaving me.
Yeah. Yeah, these boys don't care if I show up sloppy drunk.
Yeah. The dog's on your side.
Like, if I don't go to rehab, they'll still be here with me.
100%. In fact, they would be happy to get rid of the dog, just as quickly as they'd be happy to get rid of me.
That's right.
Do you think he thought that Corso would outlive Ben?
Ooh, wow.
Is he like, how is this happening?
You know what's going to be really annoying is when he misses a game because Ben died.
That might happen.
Everyone is like, I'm so sorry. And then on game day, hey, Kirk, I'm so sorry about Ben.
Oh, that's happening. And trust me, our whole show will be the day after he dies.
It'll be a Thursday night game.
And
he's not missing Saturday.
You know what they're definitely going to do is they're going to go to commercial with silence. And they're going to have an image up there, and in cursive it'll say Ben.
The years.
Yeah, and it'll have the years below it.
Right.
Yeah. It's also, and this only plays for our video crowd, it's a really weird picture because it's a photo of Ben, obviously, but he photoshopped everything else out of the back. Like, he made it look like Ben's on a green screen.
I think we need a current picture of Ben.
To see?
Just kind of laying there, yeah.
Well, I think that is pretty current.
In memory of Ben.
Because like they do
Flies,
this with really sick people too. Like
buzzards.
You can't. He's not really focusing on anything. Like he's kind of looking at you with this one eye, then the other eye is just kind of off. He's not with it.
Yep.
He needs to be put down.
Whoa. Jeez.
Somebody has to say it.
Yeah.
And you know what's going to be really annoying?
He's not afraid to go there.
When, like the University of Tennessee is going to tweet out, it was such an honor to host Ben.
Oh, that's the thing.
And, we're going to...
And then everybody's got to make sure they do
and
it,
then
too.
They're going to put, seat A is in honor of Ben, so whoever gets to sit here is sitting in Ben's seat.
There will be a private
no
jet
seat.
Yeah,
there
they'll
will
keep
be a private
seat
jet
open,
seat empty.
Yeah,
and then
like
they'll
Aaron
show you
Rodgers'
his
family.
credential
a little dog
picture.
bowl of water next to...
It'll be the Ben Herbstreit press box.
Dude, wait till the Aggies do something with Reveille. That's happening.
They will honor, yes,
Yeah.
Reveille will honor Ben.
Yeah. Well, good work, Blake. You killed everyone's favorite dog in college football.
That dog sucks.
All right.
Here's Jake with the Dumb Zone News.
This is not an uplifting story, and no one gets murdered. The city of Dallas has unveiled new robotic lawnmowers that will replace gas-powered lawn equipment.
Okay, using the word robot does diminish it, but I'm still interested. What are we saying? Electric?
Yeah.
But operated by people?
No.
Interesting.
No. They took her jabs.
How do we do that?
Well, they make a robot, and it's like a Roomba.
Like it knows where to...
Yeah.
What about the edging?
We're not there yet, I don't think.
Okay, so we still hiring humans for edging.
Yeah. It says the robotic mowers will not impact current employees. It'll allow us to get to work we normally couldn't get to because the robot. It says the robotic.
The robot.
I was gonna say the robotic, but I stopped because that doesn't. It should say the robot will allow us to be more efficient. Mowers mow the field where normally it would have taken me 2 employees out there mowing. Now all I have is an operator. So basically, like it's at a softball park. It's big, huge areas.
Yeah.
Where they can more efficiently just take it down.
Are they going to be able to mow those cool patterns in the outfield grass?
I'm sure.
Eventually, without a doubt.
I like that.
I mean, my scenario, and I'm on the record as anti-drone, but at some point, you watch. Your lawn will be mowed with a drone.
Dan comes home and his wife is riding
riding a drone.
Honey, you don't have to steer it.
It doesn't. Nobody has to be on it. Yeah, they'll mow your yard with drones that'll have like lasers. So you'll be able to program any pattern in there you want. Like if you want, Stu CS or like a symbol of a particular faction that was fighting in World War II, you'll just set the drone and it'll laser that into your yard. Just wait.
Are you saying a swastika?
Are you?
I guess I'm just catching what you said there. Really flippantly.
I also don't think this solves the big problem. And the big problem is the gas-powered leaf blower, which is the worst piece of technology ever created for
noise.
Sound.
It's just so bad.
I got an electric leaf blower.
So do I. I don't mind going electric for that.
I love it.
Oh, I bet you do.
What does that mean?
Oh, you eat a little. You wear your Birkenstocks while you use it, and get pegged.
As I walk around the neighborhood looking for recyclables.
Right. North Texas polling location. This one in I want to say Arlington was vandalized this morning. It's a sub courthouse. Don't have any idea what that means, but it's a term I've heard my whole life, and I'm like, oh yeah, less than the other one.
Not a dumb courthouse.
Yeah, this is the this courthouse has the apple in its mouth. So voting began this morning at 7. They show up. Actually, it happened overnight. The vandalism. They found a window had been damaged, and someone had spray painted another window with "Free Palestine."
Is that gonna kind of spark the whole thing? Like, oh wait,
Today actually,
I didn't realize that a Arlington courthouse had that spray painted on the window.
Immediately,
call Netanyahu.
Intifada kid puts down a rock.
Everybody
IDF
hugs.
lowers their rifle. Yeah.
You know what? I don't know if I ever did this before, but early voting is great. Like today, it feels great. Like, doesn't it feel great to just get something accomplished? You have a weekend, you have to do something. You have a big task to do.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's, I don't know, for example, cooking 5 salmons for your week, your weekly lunch. Isn't it cool to do it on Saturday? And then when you're sitting there Sunday, you're thinking, God, I had that big thing I was going to do, and I already got it done. Now I got all day just to, and that's what I feel like today with the voting. A lot of people are running to vote and all this, and I did it like last week. Feels great.
Yeah, I saw something that we're like over half of registered voters in Texas have already voted.
That's got to be
a record.
Yeah, this is all new, right?
I'm pretty sure.
I love it. And I guess that does take the pressure away from, I don't know, just everything.
What just happened?
I don't know.
You were building.
I know. I was building something.
Building is generous.
Well, I thought he was going to.
I was crawling
up.
up.
You had a great point.
I didn't.
Yeah, I was going to say, at no point was I thinking this would be great. I was hoping for completed.
He was about to talk about society and how our problems are going to be fixed. And then
I don't know.
Hey, do you guys remember when Donnie Nelson sued Mark Cuban and said that one of Cuban's employees sexually assaulted Donnie's nephew in a hotel room?
Uh-huh.
And it was just like, okay, so you're not with the team anymore,
that was like
Donnie.
Years ago.
Yeah, he filed it in I want to say 2022. He was fired in 2021. And at the time of the filing, Cuban called the allegations false and said they are, quote, a way to get back at us. Donnie said that he was fired in retaliation for reporting to Cuban that one of the high-level Mavericks executives had sexually harassed and assaulted his nephew who was applying for a job with the Mavericks. Original lawsuit said Cubes offered Little Whistle $50 million to take back a wrongful termination claim and then sign a confidentiality statement.
That sounds like a good offer.
Boy, I would take that.
Yeah.
Well, it might not have existed. Who knows? But it does say that the parties have reached a resolution of their dispute on confidential terms. This is a funny one, too, because I say that that's the statement. That's the statement from the Mavericks senior VP of corporate communications. The parties have reached a resolution on their dispute on confidential terms. Nelson's lawyer, Raj Dunn, who I know that name for some reason of being like a big swinging D Dallas lawyer, his comment on the matter was, the parties have reached a resolution of their dispute on confidential terms.
Sounds like they mediated a thing you're allowed to say.
And theirs didn't get kicked back.
Mm-hmm.
We actually find the unfrozen caveman lawyer bit thing a little bit offensive.
In our mediation, yeah, that's it. We wanted our public statement to be kind of funny. Like, not too funny. Kind of like the show.
Yeah.
Like, barely, possibly funny.
Yeah, and so everybody was playing their role. We wanted something kind of funny, not very funny, but maybe some people would get it, so that's what we put forward. And having absolutely no understanding of our business or sense of humor, they responded to it in kind.
Yeah, they're like, don't get this.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we just want to say we were recently unfrozen.
Yeah, like it doesn't, we don't get it.
Yeah. They're like, no, we can't do that.
Yeah, let's see. I think there was one other thing I wanted to tell you about on this specific story. Oh, here's what it was. I was thinking about this last night. So it's election day, big day for the Mavericks, as Miriam Adelson is one of, if the not the largest Trump donor. And she's actually really stoked on pretty much only one thing.
What's that?
Israel, where she was born. She's pretty fired up about Israel.
I thought she was fired up about the Larry O'Brien.
No.
Got herself a tattoo.
No.
Before the season.
You're thinking of Jason Terry.
Oh, that is Jason Terry.
And her son actually runs the team, or is like the controlling owner, but she's not involved in basketball at all.
She Roseanne?
Ooh, I don't know, man. I think she might have in her day been a bit of a looker.
Well, I know, but anybody can turn into a Roseanne.
That's a good point.
Like a dude can. Yeah,
there may be a little Roseanne here.
Kind of a, if it existed, she'd be a Penny Marshall.
I was going to say, yeah. No, I think it does exist.
There's a Penny Marshall.
Let's start that, yeah.
There's a whole nother thread.
Yeah, my stepmom might be a Penny Marshall.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it occurred to me as we were at the game last night, and I was talking to my wife about, everything that had happened with the Mavs, and somehow Scent came up. And I'm like, well, actually, she's not going to be with the team when the calendar flips.
Oh, that's right. She's retiring, correct?
Yeah, but if you recall, she's retiring, but she did say, or it was reported, that she was in contract negotiations with the Mavericks' new ownership group. And I guess once that bear no fruit.
Okay, so they told her she's retiring.
They told her, you're not working here. You're right. And then she said, I'm retiring because her contract ends at the end of 2024.
And no one else was going to hire her because...
No, and also...
no other team is like, oh my gosh, what a hot commodity.
Yeah.
I got to hire this for my
now,
team.
Now, if somebody else has a scandal, maybe.
Right.
But I just started thinking about...
She was unemployed when the scandal broke.
Yeah.
She fit all the criteria to be hired.
And by all accounts was a good person to work for. But I just was thinking about...
If you got hired and just got handed a giant pile of money to, do nothing, you'd be a great person, too. Hey, yeah, hell yeah.
Say, why don't you grab a bag of chips out of there? No charge. Break room. It's on me. But I guess what I'm working towards here is that Sheldon Adelson, the guy who runs the team, Miriam's son, might be stepson, maybe son. Vegas casino owner, big right-wing guy, billions and billions of dollars. That might have been the most what would you say you do here meeting that he's ever had. Where they're like, hey, St. Marshall's contract is up. She's here to meet with you. And he's like, all right, so what's your deal?
Well,
and she explains DEI, and he's like, "What the fuck?" He's like, "I can tell
oversee the dancers and
we're
sure
gonna make sure they're not showing tit."
Yeah, they're
And he's
Cops
like, we
aren't-
pay somebody to keep that from happening?
Yeah, it's me.
And
then
she's like, also, like,
I
you know-
speak at the Women in Leadership Luncheon in Fort Worth.
Yeah, and then she's like, yeah, I also kind of try to make sure that this is like a real up workplace where, you know, there's no, you know, shady business or racism or sexual harassment. He's like, you're fired.
Yeah, we don't do that. We don't need that.
Like, she ran into a buzzsaw. It could not have been worse as far as trying to keep your job than her having
She's
to deal
like,
with him.
Raise? No.
Yeah.
Same.
And our final story. Did you guys see? I think it was this past weekend. Baylor's game. Was it Baylor TCU?
Yeah.
There was, I think, the 2014 Baylor team was being honored, and they all showed up wearing #CAB shirts, which was the shirts that a guy started selling when Coach Art Briles was. Isn't this a Brian Curtis journalism embroiled in controversy? And people were like, oh, how can you support this guy, blah, blah, blah. Well, one other organization that is not running from CAB is Stephenville ISD. They're getting a new stadium, and they will be calling it.
That's where he coached, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Art Briles Stadium. No one got raped there.
No, not Baylor.
Well, nobody on
Students.
his football team committed it. I don't know. Are you just going to sit there, or are you going to tell me Yellow Jackets?
It's pretty easy, isn't it?
Well, I mean,
Well, I guess we don't do the bit anymore then.
They were, dude, it's hard for me to explain to you, Dan.
You still say Dak had a bad game, and that was easy.
The life of their own that these
I like
sort
that.
of football programs would have when I was a kid. Like, I was obsessed with Stephenville. Just hearing the stories.
Like what? Like just how good they were?
He was the coach from 88 to 99. They had started to run the spread as early as anyone. They had is it propane?
I would always hear that about Southlake too. Just a wide open pro offense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also
Dodgeball.
They were small and then getting bigger, you know? You're like, oh, you can win at a lower level, fine, whatever. And they just kept getting bigger and kept beating everybody. I can't remember what the Stephenville fans had, but they had a shaker. Like a noisemaker type thing that was...
Cowbell?
It wasn't a cowbell, but it was something, and it was known. Anyways, Coach Art Briles is getting a stadium named after him. Remember when the Cowboys had him out at camp?
You're right. Propane tank shakers.
Which is like the most Texas thing ever, right? A small Texas town. Well, I'm going to take my propane tank out to watch the Jackets, watch boys.
Didn't Jancy work for the Cowboys?
Yeah.
They'd fill propane tanks with ball bearings.
That's what it was. I was going to say, I
Damn.
knew there was something inside the propane tank to make it do that. And it was an insane rattle that people would say if you drove through town or anywhere near town, because everybody in town was there on Friday night, that you could hear it from like miles and miles away how insane it was. Yeah, she worked for the Cowboys and I believe married Nick Eatman.
Jancy is, Art Briles' daughter.
Anyways, there's your news.
Shout out to Art Briles.
The Dumb Zone
No.
News.
No?
No.
And subscribe.
Are you trying to name it the Coach Art Briles Dragon Den? Thank you. I appreciate that.
It's for sale.
Thank you, Katie.
Naming rights, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. If he wrote us a check, we'd name it that.
What if we just named it after Jack? Like, we don't pay him, but we're like...
Intern Jack, the Jack Lieber Memorial.
I'm a big Jack fan.
I love Intern Jack.
Yeah, me too.
Very pro Jack.
No, don't do that. You're fired. You're fired if you put that out.
You're not. Override.
He's making an in memoriam for Ben.
Override. See, dude, I tell you what, though.
We'll get rid of Blake before we get rid of you, dude.
This kid knows his stuff, though, because this is what, the Times, the Post do. They got a canned obit. So when that dog croaks, we'll be the first one with an announcement about it. It's right there.
Put confetti on it.
There's a kid who's prepared.
That's right.
Prepared. One
And
DZ viewer birthday today.
He's already learning to just do stuff to make me mad.
That's
And
part
now
of the job.
you guys are loving it.
That's part of the job.
You've sent in your birthday, haven't you, Katie?
More than once.
More than once.
How old are you?
I'll be
Shaq?
35 in 25 days.
Last year was her Shaq birthday.
Is it a little weird to know that your birthday is any closer than tomorrow?
And she knows the exact number of
Well, that's
days.
what I'm saying.
That's because she's dropping it to people.
Yeah,
That's how
okay.
many days you have to shop.
You could say it like that.
Anyway, this birthday is for today. We only have one. It is Dear Lieutenant Love Tunnel. Tuesday is my 34th birthday. If you read this on this show, it would be a nice gift since all my country is going to get me for my birthday is another shitty president.
Yeah, man.
More Mike Soroy. His unemployment has to be running out soon, so he will need to do something to pay for his fix.
You'd be surprised.
That's from Chris.
I was.
P.S.
The boys.
Congratulations on taking care of your drinking issue, Jake. You're so brave. Oh, my God. Look how brave you are. You're on my Bravery Mount Rushmore alongside... You're on my Bravery Mount Rushmore alongside Caitlyn Jenner, Chelsea Manning, and Chaz Bono.
Yeah, you know, all three of those people are trans.
You're
So
so goddamn brave.
The Dumb Zone presents Today in History.
It is Tuesday, November 5th. Election Day. On this day in 1872, Susan B. Anthony. You know who that is, Katie?
Absolutely.
Every young woman should know Susan B. Anthony. She had $1. And then everybody's like, this sucks. And they don't have the Susan B. Anthony dollar anymore, I don't think. Anyway, she defied the law by attempting to cast a vote for President Ulysses S. Grant. She was later arrested and charged with, quote, knowingly voting without having a lawful right to vote. She was found guilty at trial, fined $100, but she refused to pay. Because you know women. They never do anything you say.
That's pretty badass, though.
On this day in 1946, a glass backboard shattered for the first time in an NBA game. Chuck Connors of the Celtics.
What year?
1946.
Damn.
So on the same day the glass ceiling was broken.
Oh, okay. I like it.
In honor of Susan B. Anthony.
You're locked in for tonight.
Yeah.
And on this day in 1994, George Foreman became the oldest champion in any weight class. He was 45 years old. Won the IBF and WBA championships by winning a match. Regaining part of the heavyweight title that he lost to Muhammad Ali back in 1974. So 1994, he's 45 years old. So you're thinking, that's really impressive. But it says here, he fought Michael Moore. I'm like, how easy would that be?
Every year for this son of a bitch.
I would think you could beat Michael Moore.
I don't even remember my lines anymore, Blake.
I think anyone here could beat Michael Moore.
Knock the Sparty hat right off his head. And I think the only reason I don't like that joke is because it forces me to confront the fact that there was a time where I put a lot of weight into what Michael Moore thought.
You were like stoked on Michael Moore?
Dude, I went and watched Fahrenheit 9/11 at the theater.
I did too. That was a good movie.
Like it was Avatar or something, like waiting in line. I'm like dressed like freaking a bomber in line Thursday night.
Didn't you have a shirt?
Yeah, we've already mentioned the Hitler shirt once this
I
week.
think I have like the book, Dude, Where's My Country?
Yeah, I think it. Dude, I got down bad. I was reading Oberman's books. Like, when Oberman got political, I'm like, yeah, dude, centrism, this fucking rocks. I was wrong.
In today's birthday news, do you know today is the birthday of one Video Man, Rob Chickering.
Whoa! Look at that.
He thought he was holding that back from us.
Nice try. Fly, because he skydived.
Yeah, he'd skydive under the radar.
Hell yeah.
Say a few words, Rob. Okay.
All right.
If you see Rob out in the wild today,
Dude, talk about
buy him an IPA.
ambiguous aged human. I got
no, he looks great.
No idea. None.
He could be 40.
Well, I
He
think
could be
I was
60.
told he's older than I think. How? He's 60 today.
Is that it?
Damn.
Then he's
I
here.
feel like he's about the best looking 60-year-old I've ever seen.
Yeah. Well, on the male side.
You're saying there are better looking females than Rob that are 60?
Yeah, but like that's an elite class, like Mary Steenburgen.
But if you had to have a 60-year-old male,
there's
like
I
today,
would need to look no further.
You would go right after Rob.
Yep. Happy birthday, big boy.
Yeah. Have yourself a Lone Star on us.
Yeah.
Jason Kelce, 37.
Stuff.
Who's the F now? That's what I say. Jerry Stackhouse, 50. OJ Mayo, 37.
Man.
I
I was so
Speaking
in
of
on
being
him.
down bad.
Jan Mahimni,
They're 4-0.
38.
Yes, yeah.
Jan Mahimni gave us a great drop. He gave us the Let's Go drop, didn't he?
Theo Pinson is 29. I would have thought Theo Pinson was 35. Like, for some reason, I feel like Theo Pinson is like this older, like, that's why you keep him on the roster. He's just he's waving the towel. But no.
That was a fun time.
Yeah. Odell Beckham is 32. Johnny
God,
Damon is
dude,
51.
32.
Chris Jenner, 69. Yeah. Tatum O'Neal, 61.
Is she still like really? Was she hot?
She the one who was married to John McEnroe? The pitcher in Bad News Bears?
Yes.
Dude, we got to do Bad News Bears.
Okay.
It's extremely racist in the first 5 minutes. Like, it's incredible.
Yeah, I know. I don't know that I've ever seen the whole thing.
You just love that first 5 minutes and you watch it over and over?
Well, no, it's because you played it on our show over and over.
In 2008, O'Neal was arrested for buying crack cocaine near her apartment building.
Why is that funny? People struggle with addiction.
Oh, here's addiction guy. Here's guy that cares about addicts now.
Well, I just saw like the
Instead of
arrest
just
tab,
spitting on 'em.
and I was thinking, what, DUI or something? No, crack cocaine.
Out of my way, junkie.
Art Garfunkel is 83.
You know what they say, Blake, is this is a disease that doesn't discriminate.
Actor Seth Gilliam.
We're just moving on Art
56.
Garfunkel. You know what's weird? I would assume that Dan would be more of a Simon and Garfunkel guy.
I'm more of a Garfunkel and Oates guy.
I know. But your musical tastes are very strange and hard to pin down. But I would have thought Simon and Garfunkel, or just Paul Simon in general, would do something for you. But no.
I'm not really a Paul Simon guy.
I know. Strangely enough, you're way more into music that people typically do cocaine while listening to.
More of an Andy Gibb guy.
Yeah. Cocaine.
What's wrong with him?
Nothing.
Yeah. Seth Gilliam is a actor. He's on The Wire. I think he's the bald white guy.
No.
Is he his partner?
Yes, he is not Dom.
Okay, Dom. Yeah, that's right. Bubba Watson, golfer, 46. Singer Bryan Adams is 65.
And?
Singer Ryan Adams is 50.
He's got a K-spin.
Who? Bryan Adams?
Ryan with no B.
Ryan Adams has a Kemp spin?
Yeah, he was real into real young females.
Ryan Adams sent inappropriate text to an underage girl.
Come on, don't play with me.
Like, if you're sending text to an underage girl, aren't they all inappropriate? Like, I've told you before, when I was a coach of a 12-year-old softball team, and one of the girls texted me, like, I was like, no. I don't think she should text me. Unless it was the starting pitcher, and she was telling me that, like, our stud pitcher that I had to go drive to Fort Worth to pick up. I would need to know if she's not going to be there.
Right. You have to throw a bullpen game.
Actor Robert Patrick is 62. He was in Terminator 2, The Cop.
Oh, yeah. What else has that guy done? I feel like a lot.
Wayne's World.
There you go.
Because he was parodying the cop in Terminator 2.
But what else?
Musician Johnny Greenwood is 53 from Radiohead.
Radiohead.
And Kevin Jonas is 37.
My name is Jonas.
Born on this day now dead,
That's
Natalie Schaefer.
Weezer. Oh.
Natalie Schaefer was Lovey on Gilligan's Island. Mrs. Howell. Ike Turner, and born on this day now dead, Bill Walton. Dead on this day still dead, Fred McMurray from My Three Sons, and Jimmy Davis. He wrote You Are My Sunshine.
Honestly, untouchable.
Great song, but listen to the lyrics. They start out super positive.
Oh, no.
They get a bit dark.
Yep.
Dan spinning this?
I am. I Dan spinned it.
And that was Today in History.
Now, Blake, how does this lay out?
Oh, no.
Pretty dark, huh?
Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah.
Because their person they love is gone?
Like you're thinking You Are My Sunshine, it's all positive.
Yeah.
And they don't usually put all the lyrics in when you put it on the
No.
children's CD.
Oh.
Why is the N-words in here?
Well, I mean, look, it was a different time. I mean, he was.
I can't.
He was born in 1899.
Yeah, I know people talk different back then. I just feel like this goes a little far.
Yeah. Anyway,
should we do like a thing where we're like,
Dude,
hey,
no.
in a second we'll talk to our friend in closing remarks, but right now here's Brandon Aubrey. Jonathan Mingo.
Was just looking at that as well.
All right.
I just boosted the output of the compressor. Okay.
That's what I would have done.
You're
ready.
a jerk.
I would have done that early.
All right, let's go.
Just go. Can you? If you're gonna play audio,
I'm
you gotta
not.
change. Okay. All right. I'm ready.
All right, let's leave all that in there. Leave all this in here.
No.
Let me sit here.
Later. Yeah, I want all this.
No, you don't need this.
This lead up.
Nope.
You can see how Brandon sees that he has a shadow on his face.
Yeah, it's bothering me.
That's right. We need to get Rob out to your place.
Yeah, I should get. My wife has a ring light. I need to start using that. Is that better?
These guys make fun of me
I
when
don't
I
care.
use my ring light.
Yeah, I don't care. I think you look great. Jake is the one who's vain. Oh, now the shadow.
No.
It's equally distributed now.
Yeah.
Just go.
Man, that's such a cool shirt.
That is a cool shirt.
The Cowboy Joe.
Yeah.
Do you have to pay for that?
No, this one was EQ issued gear.
Okay. What about tickets? I heard Micah complaining about tickets and the lack thereof provided to players.
Yeah, we do have to pay for tickets. We get 2 comp tickets that you pay taxes on, which for Cowboys games are very expensive. The road games, all the teams seem to jack up their prices when we come into town. So we're paying like $300 to go to San Fran to get nosebleed tickets for our family. So just tell them, just get your own tickets on SeatGeek. It'll be cheaper the day of than if we buy them for you.
Micah said that, I'm sure I probably don't have to tell you this. I'm sure you listen to every episode of his podcast, but that should be one of the bargaining chips for going to 18 games. That if the league says 18 games, that the PA should say, okay, well then we get free tickets for our families, no taxes, free tickets, road, either way. So I'm saying make him your union rep.
Maybe. I have to think about that one. I don't know if that's such a pressing issue.
Okay.
I mean, it's annoying, but I'm trying to think about that. Like, our 2 comp tickets plus, depending on how many family members are traveling to games, like it's probably like $5,000. I'd imagine there's other things you can.
Well, it can be part of a
on.
whole package that you come to the table with.
In reality, they're going to see, okay, we've given them this little thing that should be enough, and they're just going to. Every little thing they give up is going to be made into a grand. So this is what we're doing for the players. They're so unthankful.
Sure. Would you ever want
Small
to do?
gripe.
Would you ever want to do that? Be a rep?
PA rep?
Yeah.
No, I got enough stuff going on, but yeah, I mean, we got great reps. Trent is actually one of our reps now, so I trust him. I can give him all my grievances, and he's smart enough to go figure out what's worth and what's not worth giving up for stuff like an 18th game. Because an 18th game is a big deal. It's a lot of money generated for the league. I'm on more of the just make it more of a financial benefit for the players, just straight up in terms of salary cap increase or getting a higher percentage of revenue share for the players. Those are the biggest two things for me.
I just want it for the symmetrical records. 17, it just doesn't make sense.
Oh, yeah, that's true. You can get back to a 500 team.
Yeah, you can't be. Yeah, I want to be able to finish 500. That's really fun.
That's the motto of our show.
Yeah, we're a 500 show.
I can put you guys at least 600.
Yeah, obviously they always talk about player safety and things like that with the extra game. Is that, I don't know, is one extra game a valid concern? Because the old thing used to be, do you not, you play in the preseason or we'll just take preseason games away because it doesn't seem like preseason is worth that much. I don't know.
Yeah, for me as a kicker, I'm all aboard getting an extra 18th game if we get rid of the preseason, because that's more pay for me. I have to play those preseason games either way. You know, in Dallas, some of the big time players don't play in the preseason game, so you're definitely adding on to their plate by adding an extra game and taking away preseason games because they don't play those ones anyways. So I'm in a unique position where I'm gonna have to play 20 games preseason and regular season, kind of regardless. So if you take away, because I know they talked about taking away preseason games altogether as a bargaining chip for adding the 18th game, and you know, that's a bonus. I'm getting paid more to play less games.
Well, you found a way to miss one this year.
Yeah. Talking about kicks or games?
Game.
No, I was there. I just had to go
thought you had to miss.
after.
I thought he missed one preseason game.
Nope, I was there. I just had to fly home immediately after LA. So like sprinting off the field as the last plays taking place and hopping on a company issued van over to the airport and then hopping on a flight home.
Private jet? PJ?
No, American Airlines, just a standard Airbus flight home.
Just regular,
everyman. That's who he is, folks.
Just common dude. Common first class. I would hope the Cowboys would give you a first class ticket for your.
Yep, coach.
Oh, coach.
Man,
they offered him one, but he turned it down.
Aisle?
No, exit row. So leg room guy. That was nice.
So they offered him a first class. He's like, look,
save it for someone. Save it for a veteran.
That's right.
Big heart. Okay, so a little bit of football talk here, just because special teams were a factor. Kicking game, perfect as always. You know, we don't have to say that. But I am interested.
Another long one.
Another long one.
58 yards.
Enjoyed seeing you pace around on the sideline to see if they would get close enough for a 67 or 68 yarder
at the end of a half.
At the end of the half,
yeah.
Yeah, very close there.
That's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen,
right?
I hope so.
Okay. Would that have been
definitely trying to make it happen? They're running plays specifically targeting that 66-yard line, 67-yard line there. Didn't get the completion, which for a second I thought we had it, but you know it's tough.
Yeah. So. There was a call a couple of years ago, predates your time, but Bones was here. It was a game against Washington. It might have been right around Thanksgiving. The Cowboys were backed up to their own, they might have been inside their own 20, and there was a fake call on. And it was at a pretty critical portion of the game. It did not convert. And there was a big conversation around here about how does the machinations of a fake work. You know, there was the whole, okay, well, if the look is there and they've talked about the look, is it just a green light or is McCarthy in a situation to override? I've always just been interested in stuff like that because I imagine the look was there for Banger and for the C.J. Goodwin route there, but are there times where you have to check with McCarthy? How does that whole process work?
Yeah, so Bones and McCarthy talk about it all week. They kind of get the approval of what is in play and what we're not going to look for on game day. And they tend to seem to always have something. And so that was approved for weeks. And, just something that if we have a certain look, just like you mentioned, then we see it a couple times, then we'll call it. And it's up to the guys if the look changes on the field to kind of go away from that. But we had the look we wanted, and it was a good decision to make that play call. It's what we've been talking about for weeks, and we had it, and just the defender made a good play. He was heads up, he was aware, and he didn't take the bait.
If there was a situation regarding that out of the field goal formation, would the read be on the holder?
Yeah, if there's, which I don't imagine us ever running a fake when we're sending the field goal unit out there. You'd rather just probably kick the field goal, get the 3 points, or send your offense out there.
You see it a lot more in college.
Yeah, unless there's something really drastic that the opposition's doing that Bones thinks we can take advantage of, which you saw on the extra point last year in the Patriots game. And I'm just completely uninvolved in those. I'll sit there and fake kick it. That's the extent of what I do. So yeah, it's completely on Banger. He's the quarterback of the field goal team.
But if they did want to pitch it to you, you could probably run it in, right?
Hit the edge.
I mean, I could run it in as long as there's no one there.
You're not trucking anybody on your way in.
No, I'm not.
Can you throw the ball?
I can throw the ball. Can I throw it to a moving target in a game? I'd say yes, but it's yet to be seen.
And I don't mean to denigrate you by asking that, but I know that
no,
like
not at all. I can't throw the ball. I'm
and...
athletic. Yeah. I can throw it around in practice. Not a quarterback by any stretch of the imaginations, but give me a stationary target 30 yards down the field. I can get it within catching range of that target.
You'd be surprised, though, how cross-athletic tasks don't always translate. We've taken a couple trips with the Dallas Stars, and part of it is that a lot of their team wasn't from America. But I watched them attempt to play pickup basketball, and I felt great about myself. And I'm really bad at basketball, but just no concept of how to take a jump shot. There was a lot of underhand.
That you could beat a professional athlete.
Well, I mean, I don't know about
that sport. Probably.
Yeah, and these guys are freak athletes, but sometimes if you're very specialized, I think people wonder like, what else could you do? Like, if you had to, could you punt?
I could punt. I mean, that's more realistic than most other like if you put me on a hockey rink and told me to skate and hold a stick, I couldn't do both. I could probably skate, I could probably hold a stick, but I don't think I could do both at the same time. But yeah, I could punt.
Are you the backup?
Yeah, I'm definitely the backup. Game day, get you out of it, get you out of the game. Something happens to Brian, but if Brian does get injured, they're bringing somebody else in.
Who's the backup kicker?
Brian, yeah, a little cross there. So if I get injured, Brian's going in. I don't imagine we're trying long field goals or anything really outside of an extra point or must-have field goals like inside of 40. But yeah, he can get the job done, get us out of the game.
How often do you guys practice each other's thing?
Brian never practices kicking. It's kind of a violent motion. If you're not really used to it, you could injure yourself pretty quickly with those little muscles that are involved. Punting, a little more of a straightforward kicking motion. You can practice the drop endlessly without ever risking injury. So, he's got experience kicking before, and I don't have any experience punting. So, trying to learn from him, and I'll go into practice and hit a few punts before practice, kind of just messing around, but also knowing that if that ever comes up, I want to be ready to not embarrass myself and get my team out of the game.
So speaking of how often do you practice this, I was thinking that as you're setting down, you're throwing the tee off. Actually, yeah, you could throw.
Yeah. Whip that thing.
You threw the tee off the field.
Yeah, learned a new rule. You can't have a tee unless you have the ball on the tee. So can't use the tee as a distraction there. I was kind of trying to, buy as much time as possible without them knowing that my onside kick was going to be the same as it was in Baltimore or in Dallas against Baltimore. So yeah, learned something new. The ref told me if you have the tee, you got to put the ball on the tee, or at least touching the tee.
Ah,
interesting.
That is interesting. Yeah, they didn't do that. That wasn't the case in the Baltimore game?
I mean, it was technically the rule, but there's so many rules for those refs to know. They just didn't quite know that one, and apparently it got brought up after that game with the referees. So
the Brandon Aubrey rule.
Yeah. Bones has to know every rule inside and out. But how often do you practice that kind of a thing?
The
just
onside kick?
Different onside kicks. Yeah, I imagine you have more than just that one.
Yeah, I mean, that's more of an off-season toy around with, see what you got. That one is very easy to execute, and it just kind of puts the onus on the receiving team because they can make a mistake like we saw the Baltimore team make. But it's not really a difficult kick to pull off, and it's kind of a easier kick to recover if you make the right decision. So yeah, I have a few in the bag, I think, but none of them are refined as that one is. So it's definitely something, if we're going to change it up, that would need more practice. But I don't practice those in season very often, maybe like once a month.
Did you see that one?
It was a college game.
Yeah, were you going to bring that up?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't remember. Was it Ohio State?
I don't remember.
There was a college
game. Ohio State?
Yeah, like I don't think it would work in the NFL, but just a rocket, just a laser right to someone's chest.
And it bounced back to the kicking
But
team.
that only works because they don't have to declare.
Yeah, he didn't have to declare exactly, and that was a penalty, put him kicking off from the 50. And to be honest, he wasn't trying to do that. He was trying to smack it as far as he could. No,
like it was a.
But he's just called smash it through the end zone or squib it, and I think it was a squib call, and he just kind of accidentally hit the guy. But it works out great in that situation. It is something that I tried last year actually on a similar situation. We had I think it was like fourth quarter. We were trailing by a little bit, and we just had just smash it at him, and if it misses, it's gonna roll pretty far. And we tried it, and I didn't hit the guy. It was a little bit wrong height, or maybe I think it was just to the left of him, about chest height, and it went on to roll into the end zone. So
that's cool to me, though, that obviously it's your job, but that you, Bones, whoever, it's almost like an offensive coordinator looking at, for example, like high school teams and seeing like, hey, what are they trying there? Like, have you ever heard of Kevin Kelly, Pulaski Academy? He was the coach who never punts.
I have heard of that story, but I don't know his name, and I'm not super familiar with the story.
Well, the main story was that they never punted.
Okay.
I mean, like on maybe twice in a season, and they ran a crazy offense, but we went and saw them live here. They were actually playing the team that Jason Witten coaches now in a Christian school or private school, but they had probably a dozen onside kicks, and they would onside kick every time they scored until they were up 60, and then they would just call it off. But they had two kickers, a left foot and a right foot, and they probably had 10 to 12 onside kicks that were magic. And
interesting.
The first time we saw him do it, and Witten looked like he had seen man create fire for the first time. Like he's used to football being played a certain way, and then all of a sudden it was, hey, they have 4 onside kicks, and now they're up 28-0.
So were they recovering the onside kicks for the most part?
Yeah, because they had fakes off of them, and they would have motion, pre-snap or pre-kick motion. It was wild. It was a wild thing to watch. I don't know if it would work in the NFL.
We can't have pre-snap motion.
Yeah.
And there's so many rules about where you can even line up. You can only put I think 6 on one side of the ball is the most, and they have to line up specifically in relation to the landmarks on the field.
Yeah.
It's way different.
And are you analyzing?
No fun league.
Are you guys I would imagine you're analyzing because you got a sweet. I think your best kickoff is when you hook it to the left, and the coffin corner, like you're flirting with danger there, could go out of bounds if you don't get it quite right, but you just kind of land it right in there, and that seems to be the one because it doesn't look like you could fade it as well, right? Like,
I've not tried to fade it. I think that might be possible. I know some guys have a fade on their field goal swing, but I can mess with I guess I probably shouldn't say. I can mess with some things and try and get the fade, but the ball that kind of hooks left and tanks really hard down towards the ground is one of my favorite.
Tough
I think
to catch.
Bucker actually, Bucker hit it last night and it got him a 20-yard drive start, which was awesome. It is tough to catch. I put one outside of the landing zone, which was bad. What game was that? It was our last game, but just try and get it right over into that landing zone and get it on the ground quick. Gets our kickoff team a little bit of extra time they wouldn't have if the guy caught the ball. They can start when the ball hits the ground. So that's the idea there. Otherwise, if I'm going left, I try to avoid hitting that ball if possible because, like you said, that's going to hit the ball and carry hard left. So if I'm going coffin corner left, it's usually just like a line drive, straight flight ball and trying to place it just outside of the numbers, or there's an invisible red line, but there's a red line in practice that I'm trying to hit between the numbers and the sideline.
Seems like that addition to the rule book has made your season a little more, I don't know, fun. It's just a little more like you're not just pounding it out of the end zone every time.
It's dynamic.
Yeah, absolutely. I do enjoy it. It's easier on me, and then I get my guys opportunity to go make tackles and hopefully earn some money, whether it's here in their second contract or elsewhere, by showing their versatility, and they're really good at covering on kickoff, which if you can pin a team inside of the 25 like we have a number of times on kickoff, it's a big deal. I mean, 5 yards, 10 yards drive start difference, that's the whole first down a team needs to get that they otherwise wouldn't.
Parcells used to call this hidden yardage, Brandon. I don't know if you know who Bill Parcells is, but he's an old coach. I like the corner kick because, you'll hear about this sometimes with quarterbacks and the passing game, particularly on rollouts, is that you're cutting the field in half. Is that if you can remove the pocket, the Cowboys used to do this a lot, the high-low with a tight end and receiver, move the pocket. Well, now you only have to read half the field. I feel like if you kick and it's like that left corner, it's so much more crowded, and you're cutting down the number of bodies you have to deal with to make a tackle, which just seems to make it easier. So I guess I'm just saying good job. I like that. Well,
thank you. Yeah, no, I absolutely getting into the corner over there. The returner really only has one direction he can go. It helps guys because it really screws with the returner's leverage on kick return. So helps our guys beat their man a little bit quicker, and they can just be more decisive. They know where they can go because they don't have to cover necessarily one side of the field like you mentioned.
So we don't want you to just totally spill the beans here or anything, but Jerry spoke with the media after the game, and he mentioned coming into the locker room and kind of giving the team a talk, and he was emotional. Rather than ask you what were the content of his comments, I guess I just wonder what it's like to see Jerry come in, address the team, and clearly, he's a passionate guy, and I don't think he's ever faking anything. I think, agree or disagree with him, I think he's being real with everybody he's talking to, and I just wonder what it's like for you seeing him in that spot.
Yeah, I mean, it's just very clear that he wants to win. He's doing what everything he thinks he can to help us win, and he's just coming in here and trying to motivate the team after a stretch that could be pretty demoralizing. And it wants us to understand that you're not going to win every game in the NFL, and your goals are still within reach, and you guys have the ability. I still believe in you guys. Go out there and continue to fight, and I think we have what we need in this locker room to win. So that's just what the message he's trying to get across, and just kind of trying to instill belief in us through his belief in us.
Well, I mean, you kind of told us, but I'll ask you what he said. Was it like a story about Michael Irvin? I thought I heard that.
Yeah, it was a story about Michael Irvin coming back from what should have been a career-ending injury, just out at training camp. Didn't seem to have the juice, and they were joint practice with San Diego at the time, and San Diego players were mocking him, saying, "You're done, you're torched, you're never gonna be good again," that sort of thing. And it was kind of felt like the message was going one way. Michael Irvin turned to his team and said, "Why are you guys? They're talking shit, they're talking trash," and eventually started crying. So I thought for a second the message was going to be always have your teammates' backs, but it kind of took a turn. And after that moment, he just went on to reference a year later, he's in the Super Bowl, scoring touchdowns, running past those guys that were making fun of him. So just know that, pardon my language, but you're going to take a lot of shit throughout the league, and things aren't going to always go your way. You're going to take your lumps, and all that it does is help you remember why you're doing what you're doing and understand that this is very temporary and you can overcome these hurdles that come your way. Kind of, that was the moral of the story there.
All right. So we are, for those listening, they know we're playing this later in our show. We are recording this at 9:30 in the morning on your quote day off. But what does your day off entail today?
Yeah, so actually both of the things got moved because my wife, I brought home the flu, and now my wife and baby are both sick. So now it's just taking care of those who I got sick.
Oh, okay. So because the Cowboys will assign you different events to go to here from time to time.
Yeah, so there's some voluntary charitable events, and I signed up for one. It's like a lunch with veterans over at the construction site for the National Medal of Honor Museum. So that was on the docket, and then there's a paid shoot at the Star later as well. But yeah, I had to cancel both.
Do you love the photo shoots?
I mean, I like getting paid, and it's a good opportunity to get in front of brands that are kind of that I already use or have interest in using their products.
Go ahead, Blake.
I had a question about after the game. We always see the coaches handshake and the quarterbacks will go up. I was curious if there's kind of a kicker fraternity that you guys go up to after the game, and the reason I ask is I think Young Ho Koo is a really cool guy because he'll just take a Zen pouch in the autograph line. Talking to him, what's he like, I guess?
Yeah, he's awesome. He's another Spring League story, actually. He's the original coming out of the AAF. So he worked with a lot of the people that I worked with to get to the NFL, and he kind of had a similar story where no one gave him an opportunity right out of the bat, so he had to go and earn that opportunity through other professional leagues. Like his was the AAF. I think that lasted 5 games, but he was perfect through that time. And then when it dissolved, he got an opportunity with the Chargers and bounced around a few teams and eventually got a chance to start for the Falcons. And you've seen what he's done with that opportunity. He's been fantastic. So to answer your question, yeah, there's a huge fraternity. Specialists all kind of share in our stories with each other, and after the game we'll chat, before the game we'll chat, and it was very cool to talk to Koo, to get to meet him and kind of hear his story.
Isn't there a vacation? I used to hear about there's a punters or something.
Oh, there's a big coming together kind of out in the San Diego area. There's a big combine, a bunch of events where kickers kind of just go train with each other. John Carney, Nick Novak, kind of the facilitators there. They both have their own events, or it's go out there for a week and compete with each other, hang out with each other, just see what the other guys are doing in their form and run things by each other. Cool. Just competitive and cooperative environment.
Do you guys share agents and stuff? Is there a kicker agent?
Not that I'm aware of. Yeah, I did just sign with Athletes First, and I was the first kicker with my agent. So excited on that front. But I'm not aware of a kicker specific agent.
So last thing for me, do you have like a juror group chat? Like, are you staying in touch with the fellas?
No,
or what
nope. That's done and dusted, and those relationships will live in that moment in time.
Okay, I don't know. Maybe go grab a sandwich
Yeah.
and talk about
That'll be
the news.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. Well, don't get the flu again. I don't know.
I'll
can
try
you?
my best.
I guess you can't, right? Are you
Yeah.
are you a Superman now? You can't. You're impervious to the flu. If you just have it.
Untouchable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Well, then do whatever you want today.
Absolutely.
And we will talk to you next week. I think next Tuesday.
Thanks, man.
Sounds good. Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
Wasn't Brandon Aubrey awesome?
I thought that was the
He
best
is
Brandon
so
Aubrey show we've done so
cool.
far.
That was
Yep.
so good. Did you like that, Katie?
I did.
Can you believe the stuff he said?
That was incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely re-listenable over and over.
What was your favorite part?
The part where he talked about what Jerry had to say in the locker room.
Dude,
There you
she's-
go.
that's incredible.
Nice.
She's been paying attention to the show. So this is Katie Harris. She's doing the sit-in today.
I am. Thank you.
She celebrated her Shaq birthday last year.
I did. I emailed you very distinctly saying that I force my dear fiance to listen to you guys in the car with me every day because he's just the passenger princess. And you were very attached to that for a few minutes.
Oh, so he's not a listener?
No, he
Is he now a husband or still fiance?
working on that for spring 25 right now.
Okay.
All right. Got a date.
No,
Well, you got a season.
a concept.
Yeah.
I have a concept of a marriage.
Yeah, it's like Trump's healthcare plan.
Yeah, don't rush into it.
That was the joke. Thank you,
Yeah.
Jake. Appreciate that.
Okay.
But yeah.
Damn, I just got fucking roasted. That stung.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Well, these closing remarks are yours.
Well, thank you. I have, I'm a DF. I am not going to do a day because I think that that's arbitrary and unnecessary.
That's true day 11 behavior right there.
I hate that you looked that up, and I'm going to hurt you. But just for concept, the place that I work, when I started working there 13 years ago, it was an expectation that your previous place of employment, you had to listen to it. We had a radio on in the office. And so at First Tee, for the longest time in Dallas, the ticket was what we listened to day in and day out, 9 to 5. And so that's how I learned about Dan and then his previous co-host and then Dan and Jake. And so I got hooked. I know that there's at least one gentleman that's going to listen to this today that'll be happy to hear that I'm here. But I'm glad that you guys will let me sit here and yammer on to talk about your favorite sport ever that you listen to here. About golf particularly. So at First Tee, we're an organization locally.
I get it.
Oh, do you? I work for the First Tee of Greater Dallas. We're a nonprofit organization that serves kids ages 5 to 18, teaching them really cool stuff like how to set goals, how to problem solve, how to learn what it means to deal with challenges and collaborate with others to get through those things, but using golf as the platform to do so. So we do everything from work in school, after school programs with certain partner programs, open enrollment classes, things like Jake's daughter could join, just serving kids in all of those age ranges and serving in the last 20 years as an organization. We've served over 800,000 kids in Dallas proper.
Dang.
So I'm here to spread the word of, hey, here's a cool, fun thing for those of you guys, because it's a commonplace thing in the world. Having played golf my whole life, you hear dads say, I want my kids to play golf, but I don't want to teach them all my bad habits. Well, we are here to kind of bridge that gap. If you're somebody that wants your kids to maybe learn about the sport, but you don't want to pay $200 an hour for somebody to teach them, and you want them to see if they like it, we're here to be that, as my previous boss used to say, the taste of the ice cream, to see if they might in the long term want to buy the franchise of the store.
The little scoop thing.
And the little scoop.
Little spoon.
Yeah, that you give your 3 or 4 year old to say, hey, would you like this? And if they really like it, then maybe you come back and keep buying ice cream cones, and then maybe they want to work there. That's the analogy we use of we're here to open the door to see if kids really like golf, but we're not just a golf program. We're teaching them things like being respectful, being responsible, the traits that you learn through the game of golf naturally, but we're doing it in a what we call inquiry-based learning situation where we provide the opportunity for them to learn more about it with supportive help around them and our coaches.
So how can people get involved?
So if
Dan could teach.
Come on. Clearly, you used to be a softball coach. You have a little bit of knowledge in that mentorship world. You don't have to be a good golfer. You just have to care.
Okay. Oh, I have to care?
I mean, maybe. I mean, if you're feeling like it. If you feel like it that day, just let us know.
Okay.
But how do you get involved? So knowing that the Dumb Zone is all across, not just here in the DFW. So firsttee.org will absolutely open the door to finding out what's closest to you, what's available to you. If you're somebody in Dallas, it's firstteedallas.org. If you're in Fort Worth, it's firstteeftworth.org. And you can find locations, opportunities. As I said earlier, we are a 501c3 nonprofit. We try to make it as affordable as possible to families, and to do that, we raise funds to make it available. We do serve kids anywhere on the spectrum financially, from, kids that need an extra financial help to get involved to those that may not want to but want to find the right place for them. Our purpose is to have opportunities for kids to find success, whatever, if that's making a 3-inch putt or if that's, winning a national championship. So that's what we do. That's how you find us.
That's very cool.
I'm glad.
What's the youngest?
5. We've had 4-year-olds, but 5 is the absolute youngest. We have 5 and 6-year-old classes. So, for example, if Nora was interested, since you want her to not do dance anymore, that's an option for you.
I shouldn't have said that.
I feel like she'd be good at golf.
She might be.
Like, doesn't she seem very particular? Like,
she's extremely particular.
Like, very, yeah.
And the best part is, it's just her. It's not a team sport where she can't be like, well, why are they not doing that correctly? No, it's just working on your own thing. And that's what we are here to do, is offer the opportunity for youth to learn about themselves using this goofy sport.
I bet Brooks will be good at that, because he's like Blake, and Blake doesn't like people, so he'd be just by himself. And
yeah, but he's also starting to get my bad habits.
What's that?
Too long off the tee, no short game.
Right.
We got a temper when it comes to sports and when things don't go our way.
And that's okay. We absolutely work with that.
That's
and
high
work through
tea.
all that stuff. Yeah. We're used to dealing with that with young gentlemen. Let's say it that way.
Yeah.
Do you teach with screaming?
Not anymore. I've dealt with it more than once.
Okay.
But absolutely, that's not the typical way that we teach currently, Dan.
Well, good. That's what we would rather have.
Who'd you vote for?
Did you early vote?
Absolutely.
Yeah, isn't that great?
It's so much better. I live in a little subsect where I just walked in, literally filled out the paperwork and walked out. I had no line, no questions, just go in, out, great.
Yeah. They didn't even ask for ID where I went. They let me
They're
vote
like,
like 20, 30 times.
Cool.
They only
It was
let me
great.
vote
Perfect.
once, but I had a van full of illegals.
Yeah, I brought my gardener and my... no, everybody knows that's a joke because I have a white landscape.
Yeah.
Correct.
Right.
They
only let him vote once.
Firsttee.org.
Firsttee.org.
So if people want to volunteer to coach,
Absolutely.
that's a way?
Absolutely. So, yeah, we do have a staff that we run programming.
You could do that, Blake.
Absolutely, you could, Blake. I'd be happy to have you. Knowing where you are in the world, not that anyone knows where you live, we absolutely could use your help because we're trying to expand to your side of East Dallas.
Okay.
Have you ever seen a situation where, let's say, hypothetically, there was an individual who was driving under the influence and got in trouble, and then they had to do community service, and they did it at First Tee?
Mm-hmm. We've absolutely helped with that before.
And then that golfer went on to become a national champion?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay, I just was wondering. It just seems like...
Is this the Mighty Ducks?
Yeah, but
Okay.
it was...
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. I don't know. I just wanted to see if this plays in every sport. Or is this just a guy... It is golf. People tend to imbibe a little bit.
Yes, we do get those phone calls of, hey, I got to get 20 community service hours. I'm like, okay, well.
And I can bomb it. So let me come out there.
I once played a par 3 course on acid.
Oh, God. I can only wonder what that felt like.
Yeah. Well, I was without shoes. Dude, the electrons.
The original ground
Oh, my
game.
Feeling
God. Yeah.
Well,
So I
it's,
can teach that class.
Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
The hallucinogenic golf class, no?
Well, I didn't bring prizes, and other
No
than
letter from Jason Garrett?
No letter from Jason Garrett. I best I could probably bring you would have been like my NCAA stuff, but that would require
College golfer?
Whoa!
Yes.
Oh,
Listen
you
to
dropped
that.
something.
Dropped a little hint there.
Yes. My
Where'd you play?
A tiny little school out in Tyler called UT Tyler.
Okay.
Now they are nationally ranked in terms of their women's golf team now, but when I was there, I was the first recruiting class. So I was in a room of 14 other girls that they said, "Hey, you want to make this golf team? Let's go." And 4 years later, only 2 of us were left. So it ended up working out okay.
Paved the way.
Because you'd be surprised. There's a lot of need.
You're like the Susan B. Anthony of
East Texas college golf.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You could say that. So there's absolutely need for, driving more women to play golf so they can look at college golf scholarships. That's absolutely something that I will continue to hark upon.
Dude, for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's
No,
what
I know.
you got to do, yeah.
I know.
If Title IX is still a thing.
It is, maybe, depending on today.
Right.
I will tell you that there is an actual number. 75% of women's college golf scholarships are not taken.
Really?
Yes, that is absolutely accurate. 75% of high school girls that could play collegiate golf.
Dudes are going to start transitioning left and right to do that.
The joke has been made before, yes.
Yeah.
But most...
I did. Now she got you.
I did.
Your old dusty-ass joke.
Yeah.
But, yes, there is a significant issue of there's more schools out there that have collegiate women's golf teams than girls that go play. So there's actually women's golf scholarships and women's golf teams that are dissolving because girls are not choosing to continue.
See, that's what I did wrong with my 2 girls,
I still have a shot.
Yeah, they're playing like basketball and
no
that
chance.
was stupid.
Band.
No chance.
That was ridiculous. Yeah.
No chance.
Damn, seriously, I wish I knew about you guys when they were little.
That's what we're here to do. Our chapter...
And my new wife is going to love my plan for these
I want
new
this
kids.
to happen so
Perfect.
bad.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for being here.
Well, thank you guys for having me and letting me sit around and listen and get to meet Kronk,
Yeah,
if you will.
he keeps it crunk. Yeah, I got to go. I'm taking Nor to the range.
Perfect.
All right.
Sounds good to me.
Adios, mofo.
We gotta go before this becomes a zoo.
Thank you for watching my video. Subscribe and type for my name if you want to watch more of my videos.